sports talk? There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com. No matter what team, no matter what player, no matter what coach, no matter what game, it all happens here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Down there, it is like being on a radio station in a way because they're so passionate about, what those college football teams are doing. They treat it, and there's not, I don't know what it's like now. This was almost 15 years ago. But back then, there were no local talk shows that talked about Mississippi State or Ole Miss. So if you came on the news and led with Ole Miss, Mississippi State fans would call and be mad at you like it was
most
a radio
beautiful
show.
thing in the world.
Yeah. And it was like, why are you leading with Ole Miss? It's like, well, they just clinched their spot in the College World Series. Like, I'm leading with Ole Miss.
Lead.
Like, that's a big deal, even though you were a little bit technically, geographically closer to Mississippi State.
That's what I had where I was in southwest Missouri. So Arkansas was an hour away, Kansas was 2 hours, and Missouri was 4 hours. Kansas State there, too. We would lead with Kansas basketball highlights. Yep. You'd get an email the second you're off air. Why didn't you lead with Missouri?
Right.
Tigers sucked.
Yeah.
It's Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
I covered a few of those games between Alabama and LSU, Alabama and Notre Dame, that national championship when what's his name? You remember when A.J. McCarron pushed his offensive lineman, and the offensive lineman pushed A.J. McCarron when they were up like 35 points in the fourth quarter. I was at that game. That was the game. His girlfriend went viral when Brett Musburger was...
Oh, what was her name?
Catherine Webb.
Yep, and that's a throwback name because that's before what social media is today, where you had to watch a game to find out about Catherine Webb, and that catapulted her.
Yeah.
Now it's the Livy Dunn case.
Yes.
Livy Dunn doesn't need to be dating Paul Skeens or to be at a game on a sideline for the world to find out.
Before that game, or after that game, we were in the locker room, and somebody told her that she had... LeBron James started following her. They told McCarron, and I remember him flipping out, and he thought it was like crazy. But you're right. This was a different time in social media. Before that game, my friend at the time was working at ESPN. He's still there. And he was on like college football. So we ended up, before that game, I don't know why we did this, but we were like, do you want to F with Vince Vaughn? So I was like, or I asked him, I guess. And he was like, yeah. So Vince Vaughn was down on the sideline. So we went up to Vince Vaughn. I don't know why we did this again. And we were like, hey, can you take a picture? And he was like, oh, sure. Whatever. And he started to pose like I was going to be in the picture with him. And we were like, no, can you take a picture of us? And he was like, oh, okay. So we have a picture of us that Vince Vaughn took.
He probably
didn't
liked
know what was going on.
But he probably liked that. He's like, these guys must not know who I am.
I guess.
They've never seen Old School or Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a little refreshing. Knocked him down a peg.
Speaking of Wedding Crashers, before we get into the football, I crashed my first wedding last night.
How did that go?
Epic.
How?
It's on my Instagram stories. So what was going on was my... a sort of more distant relative, like a second or third cousin was getting married 5 minutes from where we live. And my parents were invited, but I wasn't invited. My kids weren't invited. I don't think kids were invited to the wedding. So we get back. I played golf yesterday. My daughter's in 6th grade. She was babysitting her little brother all afternoon. So thank you, Maeve. But when we got home, it was late, and they'd been in the house all day. And I was like, you want to do something? And we were trying to think of what to do. And I was like, you probably want to get out of the house. And I was like, wait, that wedding's 5 minutes away. So I took the 11-year-old, the 8-year-old. We got all dressed up. And for 25 minutes, we went to the wedding. We bombed onto the dance floor. We surprised Nani and Papa. They're dancing up a storm. My daughter was in her element. And for me, it was perfect. I mean, not that I don't like weddings, but a lot of times, I'll hit a wall.
Yeah.
It's like I'm good after, especially if it's a wedding with people most of the people there I don't really know all that well. So we went out there. We were cutting it up, seeing some of the old folks dancing to the window, to the wall was that Lil Jon. It's always fun.
How did the bride and groom react?
They were happy to see my daughter. You know that one.
So they
were
did
fine.
not mind the no kid rule being broken.
I don't think it was. It was a small wedding. We hit it at the perfect time. They were just doing like dancing. There was no like tables. Everybody was up and about and everything. So I just never done that before. It was a little bit of a rush. It was kind of fun, and we were out of there within 30 minutes. So that was like a great situation for me.
I've crashed Sweet 16s in the past. I've never crashed a wedding.
Okay.
And I respect it.
Yeah.
And especially, I'll give you this perspective. I just got married August 16th.
Ah, congrats.
Thank you. This is my second time working since I've been back for the
I
honeymoon.
thought you were going to say it was my second marriage. Okay.
No, going through when I had proposed to my fiance, love
Yep.
of my life, and when we got done with the wedding, I literally said, I don't know how anyone gets engaged or married twice. Most stressful stuff
man.
you'll ever do, you know? So, but we had the no kid rule.
Yeah.
And in a way, I'm not condoning what you did, but I'm not hating because you did it right. Because you know the lead up, we got phone calls. Can the kids come? And I go, no.
Yeah.
Hard rule. And my cousin was receptive. He goes, no, put your foot down. And the lead up to the night before, we're getting asked, hey, can so-and-so come? And I'm like, no. I did the seating chart. I was in charge of that.
Yep.
And that was my out. I'm like, seating chart's done. I put 4 hours, multiple days into that. No one's coming. I respect you crashing it. You're right. You probably hit it at the right time. And you brought the kids, and the bride and groom didn't mind. Kudos to you.
It was. I just figured we were going to go in and out. You see the grandparents.
You did it
see
right.
a few of the relatives we
go
never
to
get
eat.
to see.
You're not like, no, give us a plate for dinner because that's what messes with people. No, you went. You had a good time.
No. So that was fun. My daughter loved it. She's going to be waiting for the next wedding to go to. But okay. So there we go. So that's the way we're going to start the show today.
Hey, any wedding advice, anyone, or marriage advice someone wants to call in with for me, please.
Don't do it.
Too late. I have the ring on. It's official in the beautiful Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in the church as well. It's too late. What's next?
Being married's great. It's great. I would like to think that you have some physical attraction to your wife that I think helps.
I do.
Okay, good. So if that's the case, you're in a good spot. It's the best investment if it's the right person that you could ever make. So
and you know what? That box checks. We got married, when we got engaged, all of that. It was like, in a good way, I felt like nothing changed. That was my person, right? That's my soulmate. Then we got married, and we just had a really fun party where we were the focal point, which we appreciated. And then now it's like, same thing, which in a good way.
You did a honeymoon?
Yeah, we did Mallorca and then Italy, northern Italy.
Nice. Yeah.
Mallorca.
I don't even know what that is.
So it's a small island south of Barcelona. So we did the destination wedding just outside of Barcelona.
Oh, you got married over there?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm Lebanese. She's Lebanese.
Nice.
That means if you do it here in the States, that's 500-600 people attending the wedding.
Okay.
Neither of us wanted that.
Can't do that.
Yeah. So you do destination wedding.
Yep.
Our one rule, direct flight, make it easy on my parents, her parents.
Yep.
So we had around 110 people, which was great. Awesome wedding. Mallorca's an island. It's like flying from Boston to Nantucket. Quick flight. If you don't want to do the ferry.
Yep.
It was okay. It was all right. But then we got to Italy, and that's when I was like, I never want to leave. Northern Italy, we did Lake Maggiore, small village, Stresa, right on the lake. Oh, Italy, amazing. The food was great. Everything. Honeymoon was absolutely perfect.
Food is excellent over there. We went there for the first time. I'd never been abroad. We went there last year for our 10-year anniversary.
Nice. What part?
Actually, 2 years ago. We went to Rome.
Nice.
She had been there. I'd never been there, and it was just something I wanted to see. And we went to the coast down south, which was good.
You're not a beach guy?
The beaches were overrated. I mean, they were overrated, dude. The sand was
Rocks, pebbles.
the sand. It was like
It was coarse.
It was gray or
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
It was hot. And she was surprised when I was saving this up. So we're on the beach. We're on El Mafi, and she's sitting down reading, and I'm going to do it. I'm going in the water for the first time. So I kind of like go behind the chairs. Nobody's going to want to hear this, but tough. It's been a tough summer for me and my legs, so they're going to listen to this. I can fill you in later. But I get up. I go behind the chairs.
Yeah.
Okay? And I take my shorts off, and then I just walk down, not naked, but I'm in a Speedo with a big ace bald eagle in the back. Okay? I thought about tweeting the picture I have of it
better
when
off
everybody was giving me crap for the legs earlier when I was on Felger and Maz and my legs were exposed and I wore the short shorts. I wasn't going to do that to this region. But she didn't know what to do. All of a sudden she looked up from the book, and there's my big bald eagle ass in her face as I'm going. It's Italy.
You went for it.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
So that was
honestly, you even wearing a Speedo, you're overdressed on some of those beaches.
Yeah, I'll be a little. I'm going to tell you this. I was unimpressed with a lot of the aspects of the Amalfi. Like the food was amazing and the views are amazing and it's beautiful. But we tried to go to this island, Capri.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, they lied to us. They told us that we were gonna have access to some blue lagoon or something that we never had access to. It wasn't even close. It was a straight up lie. They lied to us. Then we get to Capri and we're on the beach.
Yeah.
It is 100% rocks.
Yeah.
Like all rocks. There's no sand.
That's a lot of
I
Europe.
am literally lying on rocks. And I'm like, this is supposed to be one of the most beautiful places in the world. What am I doing? I'd rather be on Mayflower Beach in Dennis, Mass. Like, this is not nice. So I remember just coming out of the water, scratching and rolling my ankle at every step and turn. I'm being like, it's so beautiful here. Like, it was unbelievably mediocre, if not worse.
You know what? That's you being soft. It's the when in Rome. When in
guess.
Italy.
Yeah, but that was
lay down the towel, tough out the rocks.
Whatever. That's idiotic to think that I'd
That's
want
why
to
you need
sleep.
the beach clubs. They have those prior set down chairs, the cabanas.
I guess. I mean, the Amalfi Coast where the black sand was, it was hot, but that was fine. Rocks. And there was nowhere to sit. There was no
Same
things
thing.
to sit on.
Same thing happened to me in Mallorca. Really cool bay. It's in the mountains. Very mountainous island. We find a beach, and I'm the beach guy. My wife was the great sport of, hey, I want to go. We'll go for an hour. Then we'll do whatever you want to do, the shopping, whatever. We get down. I go in the water, lay down for 10 minutes. I go, let's go. She's like, really? Like, yeah, parking was easy. Drive was quick. Let's get out of here. I'm good. There's certain beaches you go to. Overrated.
Okay. Well, I'm a beach guy. I love the beach.
No. I love staring at a body of water. It's my favorite pastime. I'll go to Nahant Beach, the public beach up there. Love going to the beaches in Maine, which are rocky, but I'm a big North Shore guy.
You're a North Shore guy.
Yeah, I will never go to the Cape in my entire life.
Okay.
I will never go unless I take the ferry to P-Town. Then I'll do that.
All right.
But I have a wedding in the Cape next August, so it's like, all right, it's
Next
a catch.
August.
But I have to go.
time. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not volunteering. I'm not doing the 3-hour one way in, one way out. I'm not doing that BS. I'm a North Shore, Maine beach guy. It's how I
to
am.
the North Shore enough.
It's a
We had a
beautiful
wedding
place.
a few years ago. My cousin got married in Rockport. It was gorgeous. And I just
Rockport, Maine?
No, Rockport, Mass.
Oh, okay.
Rockport, Mass, like Gloucester, that
Yep.
area.
Gloucester's
I'm just not there.
beautiful.
I'm not there enough, and I should. We don't get anywhere enough.
Look, I get it. If you're south of the city,
Yeah.
it's tough to go to the north. If you're north of the city, it's tough to go south. I understand it.
My in-laws have a place on Cape Cod, so I am there.
You know what?
I have no choice. She
Yes.
wants to be there. My wife wants to be there. So, all right, 617-779-0985. We're going to get into the football. We'll take your calls. I have a take on Micah Parsons.
Beautiful.
And on how the Patriots need to beware as we go forward here. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5, The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
217-779-0985. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Let's go to the phones. Peter's in Boston. What's going on, Peter? Good morning.
Hey, guys. Morning. I just heard my ears perked up when you mentioned Notre Dame earlier. I was at that Bama game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Probably one of the worst nights of my life.
Yep.
But Vince Vaughn, his first acting role was Rudy, so that's why he's like a lifelong Notre Dame fan.
Ah, that's right.
So, I'd met Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson along with Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez at a home game one time.
Wow.
And,
at a Notre Dame home game?
Yeah.
What do you think she was thinking being in South Bend?
Well, her brother.
Yeah, it was quite the get together. I was friends with Taylor's brother at the time, so
you were friends with Taylor's brother?
I was for a year.
What's he like?
He got mocked until by all the other guys at the school because they were jealous of how much attention he was getting. Okay. So he went. I think he transferred to Vanderbilt.
Oh,
but I was friends with him his freshman year. Yeah.
What's he like?
He was super cool. He was like low key, tried to fly under the radar because girls were throwing themselves at him all the time.
Okay. What an idiot.
Good for him. All right, thanks for the call, Peter. Have a good one.
Yeah.
So that because Peter brought it up, this is why again, and again, I wasn't crushing Taylor Swift, but I was just completely blown away by the fact that when she said on that the podcast with the Kelseys, that she didn't, when she started dating Travis Kelce, she didn't know that the quarterbacks weren't on the field, that they were on the field at different times.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that just because of how big football is, popularity-wise, and how she, the song she sings, I'm in the bleachers. If you really have watched one football game, your brother went to the Football University of America. She was at the game. She was at the game, Peter just said, on the sideline. She didn't you watched
Did she say she did it?
Game.
It wasn't until she dated Travis she didn't know?
Yeah, because she asked him if it was going to be weird staring across the line of scrimmage and seeing your brother. And then she went from there to say, I didn't know. I thought Jared Goff and Josh Allen played against each other on the field at the same time. You've been to if you watch one legitimate football game,
especially in person.
Yeah, anybody should be able to understand that the quarterbacks are on the field at different times. That's why I was shocked. I don't care if you don't know football. That's fine. I'm not going to kill it.
The quarterback's not on the field all the time.
If you've watched one game, you should understand that.
2024 season, I was watching a playoff game. Must have been the Chiefs. It was Super Bowl. And my wife goes, wait, why isn't Mahomes on the field when Jalen Hurts in the offense was? And I just laughed. I'm like, no, he plays quarterback, doesn't play safety or just. Yeah. And that's fine. For her, that's okay. To your point, with Taylor Swift, you have a brother that went to the school. You're going to the games. There had to be some point where, fill in the blank, who's a quarterback when Notre Dame, Bama? No, was it? Not Golston.
No,
I don't
was like the Manti Te'o team.
Yeah, where he carried the team, so the quarterback didn't matter. But she had to. You still know who the quarterback is.
It was the kid that played the piano, I think.
But you still know who the quarterback is. Yes.
Yeah, I think that was
Everett Golston. He was number 5 as well. Where you have to know, if your brother goes there and you're going to games, you know who Manti Te'o is. He's the biggest name on the team. Everyone knows who the quarterback is, good or bad. I covered the University of Wisconsin. Everyone knows who the running backs are. You still knew who the quarterbacks were. She had to know. Wait, why isn't Everett Golston on the field? And someone had to be like, well, see, this is why.
That's just, exactly. That's what happened with your wife. How did that not ever happen one time in her life?
I love her. I love her to death.
No, not your wife. I'm talking about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, because
I understand.
Yeah, my wife doesn't care for sports, and she was never in a place where.
But Taylor Swift, her dad, from what I understand, was a football.
Fair.
I thought he was an Eagles fan or something like that. The brother, like I said, I just, in all your things, all you do, I feel like you would have come across a situation where football would have been in your face, and you could have, as an A-list celebrity, garnered what the quarterback does.
She had games too. There's no way her first NFL games were when she was dating Travis Kelce, and I could be wrong. Any Swifties out there, call in, correct me.
Surprised. That's it.
That interview dropped while I was on my honeymoon, so I was like, I'm not listening to this.
Got it.
I want to go back and listen to it. I am interested. I mean, she is upper echelon top of her game, so I'm interested to hear about her in the process. The one devil's advocate I'll give you.
Yeah.
She is one of one, top of her game, and you have to be hyper focused, super talented, all locked in. that she really doesn't know sports. Like, she'll make that song, but when she did at the age that someone at a record label going, hey, let's hit this high school demo, right, with this song. So that's where I'll give her, is that literally sports does not enter her world until Travis.
Sure.
But if she was at a game, Notre Dame, Alabama national championship game, because her brother goes there, she had to know.
Let's
go devil's advocate.
You watch one game.
I can't give you that much benefit of the doubt.
And, I mean, she's never sat down to watch a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, even if she was dragged to a party by her agent or her representatives, you never watched the game? I mean, like, you never been around people that really care. I mean, you don't care about football.
But people that really care.
But somebody you know really, like, football is a popular thing. We're not talking about some off-the-radar niche. It's a big
Cricket.
deal. So, right. So it's like somebody you know must like football. And at no point you were ever in a situation where you were exposed to a game where the whole thing about the quarterback, the most important position in American sports, was brought up, or, they were discussing it, or you were looking at, wow, it's a big deal. Like, let me just see what's going on. I mean, if something's that big of a deal, you're going to naturally be drawn. Your interest will go to it just because you want to see what everybody cares about. So I was just surprised. That's all. I wasn't going to.
She knows who Tom Brady is. Like, she knew who he was back in 2013, right? Biggest name.
I would think so.
She had to have watched a game at some point and said, why isn't Tom Brady on the field?
Yeah.
And someone had to go, he plays quarterback, he doesn't play defense.
That's all.
Simple.
That's it.
All
So,
right,
whatever. It was a very big surprise.
Side note, I've never seen Rudy.
Okay.
I don't think I ever will.
It's good.
I have deeply vested disdain. I'm not going to say hate.
Yeah.
Disdain towards Notre Dame fans because they are the most delusional people on earth.
Well, the ones that bother me, and it doesn't sound like Peter was that way, so just credit to him.
No, he sounded very level-headed.
And I'm friends with some of these, or have been friends with
me too. Yeah, lifelong friends.
But the people that are over the moon passionate about Notre Dame that have no affiliation with the school, I'm not going to cry. Like, you can be a fan of whoever you want. I don't understand. Maybe because they're the Irish and you're Irish, so you like them because they represent your heritage, whatever. But I don't really understand that and don't have much to say, especially if you have no affiliation whatsoever to the school. If you went to the school, fine. Or even if you have a connection to the school. My dad went there, my uncle, whatever. Okay. If you have no affiliation to the school, I don't really understand. And Notre Dame's playing tonight. I watched some college football yesterday a little bit.
Texas, Ohio State,
I have
second half
a distaste for it now. It's
great.
so disappointing. It's minor league football.
You hate college football now. So you liked college football.
Did I say hate? I didn't say hate.
I think you said hate.
I said distaste.
Okay, sorry. Excuse me.
I can't go that far, but I think it's minor league football.
It's not what you came up watching.
No, it is not.
I mean, the game's gotten younger. Like Jeremiah Smith. Smith, best receiver in the country, is now a sophomore. And we're seeing more of that. And what got me, and I'll agree with you with some distaste, is watching, as Michigan's on, we're seeing replays right now, Bryce Underwood and the hype. It's a very, very not sophisticated offense that Bryce Underwood is executing in, but it's the first time starting. And Arch Manning, all the hype. His footwork was terrible. His mechanics were awful. He was so inaccurate. There were 2 bad drops at the end of the game for Texas, but both of those passes, if you're Arch Manning, and the hype you have, and take away the last name, but the hype of that as a player, those passes need to be accurate. They were simple completions, and you would move the chains. So I understand the distaste for college football. I still love it. I think it's the atmosphere. It's a pageantry. It's the environment. You were in Mississippi. You know how special it is.
Yeah.
I've never been to an SEC game. I covered Wisconsin for 2 years. Jonathan Taylor time. Loved Camp Randall. I love college football. But I understand where you watch it now. And it's like the development. Basketball, the players have gotten more skilled. They're more athletic. They're better all around, but they've gotten better. Baseball, you have to say the hitters have gotten better, and the pitchers as well. Football, it feels like the offensive line plays worse. If receivers are better because there's more 7-on-7, but yes, what we're seeing now with like quarterback play and simple execution, it seems like it is regressing.
It's minor league football.
But that's
how I see it.
And
I can't get it out of my mind.
College football used to be, it's a lot of guys' peaks, but that's what also it's becoming. I mean, that's Bill Belichick's selling point to the guys he recruits at UNC. I'm going to get you to the NFL.
Right.
I'm not going to win national championships. I'm going to get you ready. That was what Nick Saban did at Alabama. He got guys ready for the NFL, and a result of his focus on that was they beat everybody. Now, like, there's a Saban void. There's going to be a Belichick void. He's going to do it for 1 or 2 years. We'll see.
There is no world in college football where Ohio State should lose to Michigan at home and win the national championship. Like, I hate that. And you could argue in the playoff, it should have been 4. I don't know how it would have worked if last year there was a 4-team playoff. Would Ohio State have made it? I don't know. Probably not. They had 2 losses. But I don't remember exactly what the rankings were last year. That's not college football to me. And in fact, I miss the BCS. I never thought I would say that.
Oh, no.
I never thought I would say that. But more often than not, I liked what the BCS did more than what the play. Like this game yesterday, Texas Ohio State. Who cares? Both those teams are going to be in the playoff.
Yep.
Would it really matter that they beat, I guess home field advantage or a bye? I guess that could be a factor, but it's a game that doesn't matter. That game 20 years ago, your season might have been over when they play. When Vince Young went there in 2005 and they beat A.J. Hawk and all those guys at Ohio State. That was a playoff game in September, whenever it was. Mm-hmm. That was awesome. There wasn't even anything close to that I felt yesterday when I was watching that. It was a nice matchup of teams with some talented players, not even close to that. Both these teams are going to be in the playoff. You're right, Arch Manning does not look good with a lot of these throws he's making.
And I'm not going to write him off after one game, but
that's awful.
It's just that's where you go with the distaste. The mechanics are not there. Cade Klubnik, another highly touted prospect coming into this draft, his footwork looked garbage.
Yeah.
It looked like garbage. Garrett Nussmeier of Notre Dame, LSU looked good. To answer your question, it would have been Oregon, Georgia, Texas. Like Arizona State lost 3 games and they made the playoff.
Yep.
They were the 4 seed. Ohio State lost 2 games. To your point, they wouldn't have made it in. And I think Penn State, and that would have been the Penn State team.
So it would have been 2 games. What were the 4 that would have been in? If it was a 4-team
but this was a seeding that went to the conference winners. So like Boise State was a 3 seed. They should not have been the 3.
Yeah.
So, but it would be Oregon.
Yep.
Deserved.
They would have been in.
Georgia's
Georgia's in.
Texas would have been the 3. And then that 4 seed, that would have been the subjective. There's a committee. They pick.
How many losses did Penn State have?
2. Ohio State had 2. Arizona State had 3. That's what makes it murky. That would have been the one where they put Ohio
Penn State beat Ohio State? I forget.
Let me look up schedule.
I think
No, I don't think they did because James Franklin never beats anybody.
So who was the team that Ohio State lost another game to?
They did not play. Oh, yes. Penn State lost to Ohio State last year. So Penn State would not have gotten in.
So you'd have to.
Ohio State lost to Oregon and Michigan.
So maybe I don't know.
But the issue would have been Michigan was end of the year, and that'd be a sour taste.
Right.
They would have put they would have put Ohio State in over Penn State.
Probably. Okay.
And so maybe they still win it.
Yeah.
But I love the college football playoff expanding, but they need to rethink the seeding. A Boise State should not get a bye. They should not be the 2 seed. They should keep it at 12. I know it was floated out there by the Big Ten, 24 teams, and Big Ten gets 7 auto bids. No.
Admittedly.
That game yesterday was still big.
It was big.
Texas lost. They can win. They can lose one more game, in my opinion. But that loss yesterday won't matter if they just close it out and finish.
Of course.
That's what it is.
Obviously, the BCS was a disaster in years 2004, I think it was, when Auburn was undefeated and didn't get a chance to play for the national championship. Or the year that Miami, I forget but they had beaten, all 3 teams lost to each other, and then it ended up Florida State was the national champion, but Miami beat Florida State in the regular season. So that they all had 1 loss, and Miami beat Florida State in the regular season, but Florida State won the national championship. That was a disaster. But I think more often, the BCS was more compelling because the regular season was the playoff. You couldn't lose.
Yes.
You could not lose again. And if you did, your season was shockingly over. And I loved that. Real quick, I know we're late, but I want to take Niles' call. Hey, Niles in Arlington. What's up?
I just disagree with the whole sentiment that week 1 your season should end. That's why I like the playoff, honestly. I just think it's kind of stupid to have it all end in 1 week.
All right, that's fair. But I loved it. I loved it. I loved the pressure. I loved if you had one slip up, your national championship hopes were pretty much over.
To your point, though, the 4-team playoff is perfect for that. Maybe, and they should have expanded to 8, not 12, to keep that. Where back in the day, yes, you could lose week 1, season could be over if you were in Ohio State and you had a big Michigan game lined up to end the season. You had a big Penn State game later in the season. You could earn your way back in the BCS, but it'd be very slim. The 4-team playoff was perfect for that, where week 1, your season wasn't over, but it still mattered, and the playoffs still mattered.
I bet you I don't know this. I don't know what the technology was like, but you got to think with AI today, maybe the computer aspect of the BCS would have been better.
BCS before its time.
Maybe it would have been
BCS, the original AI.
I guess. I mean, I don't know what was going on with that computer, but
you know what the issue is too now, though? Again, when we're going through the seating, blah, 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 blah. You need people, like their full-time job. It doesn't have to be the head athletic director. Give it to an assistant AD at a university, but you need to keep it as objective as possible. But when the head of the committee is like the AD of Iowa, and they come in with these BS reasonings for some of the seating, why a team's out, and it's terrible. They're like, you want that done. You're college football. You're college athletics. You have the resources. A full-time job or part of someone's full-time job, they are that committee. They meet on Zoom. Don't make it bigger than it has to be, and do it that way.
Keep in mind, too,
ADs have too much going on.
I know what you're saying about the 14 playoff would have been better or would have kept it a little bit more like the BCS, but how many times in that semifinal round did we see awful games? Blowouts.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. So that turned me off to that, too. I think the bowl season, I also miss that the bowl season used to be a thing. Now the bowl season is useless outside of the playoffs.
Cannot disagree.
But I also think the BCS isn't going to save that because all those teams now, that's just the way they do it now. If you weren't in the national championship game, those players probably aren't going to play even still.
I know.
And the playoff saves that. At least now you get other teams that will play their starters versus guys just all sitting out other than the national championship matchup. 617-779-0985. We're going to get into NFL talk after this. I promise it's coming. I have a take on Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones. That's next. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5.
catchy for me. This song, a little bit more so, the Acquiesce song, which I think I called Aquaphor the first 2 times I was referring to it. But I don't know, and they're huge.
I never heard of them until they went back on tour.
They're huge, okay? In England. He's like, they're the Beatles over there.
Okay.
In Europe.
Yeah.
Here, I remember them for the 2 hits from the mid-'90s, and I never remember them doing anything after that. And I certainly don't remember them to the likes of some of the bands we've seen here that have all this unbelievable catalog, the Nirvanas, the Pearl Jam, stuff like that. But they are massive. I mean, as big as you can get in England, in Europe. And he said the show was unbelievable. So they're not. My Felger loves them because he was doing it one day. We were doing this when I was on with him, and it was an Oasis show. I do not understand. They're fine.
Who's your band? What's your music?
Well, probably the 90s rock is probably where I live most. Okay. But I like a lot of different music.
Same.
I like Elton John.
Okay.
I like some mainstream country. I like adult contemporary from the 80s.
Okay.
REO Speedwagon, Chicago.
REO's great.
I like rap.
Yep, same.
Mostly some of the rap more from my era, not.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Eminem. I'm talking about Dre, Snoop.
Early 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. Greatest rap album
right.
of all time.
That's right.
See, I'm hip hop, I'm rap. J. Cole, Jay-Z, 50 Cent. Those are my guys. Kendrick, Drake. The new age rappers, not for me.
I like Drake.
And then the curveball, which no one really sees coming from me, I love Grateful Dead. Yeah, but I understand. Why don't you like Grateful Dead?
You know what? I don't even know any of their songs.
You like some noodling?
What's their most popular song?
Sugary. Bird Song.
Don't know it. Don't even know it. Maybe I just haven't been exposed. Don't know it.
Althea is definitely their most
I've never even
popular
heard of it.
song.
So no.
But here's the thing.
Yep.
I don't know any of their songs either.
Yeah.
They're a jam band. Each song is 10 minutes. It'll start and end the same way. The 8 minutes in the middle, no one knows where it's going. And that's the beauty of them.
Is this Grateful Dead? See, I could get into this sound. I've got.
You want to hear 40 minutes of this just noodling?
No, not 40 minutes. 4 hours. I saw them at Fenway.
Each song is like 40 minutes.
No, it's 12. It's 8 to 12.
See, this would be like something I'd put on when I was like doing homework. Or something,
or you're mowing the lawn. That's exactly it. Their music is you're sitting around on your back deck with your boys, your friends, everyone, having beers, doing whatever. Just background music. And it's a jam band.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, if you ever go see him in person, John Mayer.
Yeah.
So talented as guitarist, like amazing.
John Mayer.
Yeah.
Your body.
Yeah. That John Mayer. Right. No, I laughed. My buddy a few years ago went to see him live. He plays guitar. I'm like, John Mayer?
Wait, are you talking about, this is not Grateful Dead now you're talking about? John Mayer.
He's their lead guitarist.
Dead and Company.
Wait a minute.
Dead and Co. Yes.
Hold on.
John Mayer is a lead guitarist for Dead and Co.
The guy that sings like the
mothers or daughters
girl songs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your body.
He is one of the greatest guitarists you'll ever hear live.
Okay. I didn't know he was affiliated with Grateful Dead.
Yeah, so he listened to some Grateful Dead. It came up on like Pandora, right?
Okay.
And he just fell in love with the band. He got obsessed with the original guitarist, and he just devoted his just on the side learning how to play it. And they'll go through lead guitarists because it's Dead and Co. There's 2 Bob Weir's, 1 guy alive from the original band, and that's it. So they'll get a new pianist, a new drummer, a new guitarist. He came in though, and he had to get humbled a little because he comes in with the big ego. John Mayer, big hit, great guitarist, and no, you got to play with the band. He says the greatest thing ever happened to him. He's really good though.
Okay, yeah.
So it's music you play when you're hanging with your friends.
That's fine. See, I have other music for that,
and that's fine.
Yeah. I if I had to listen to one genre for the rest of my life, it'd probably be that 90s, the Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. Yeah, the grunge. I loved it. Stone Temple Pilots I liked. And then later, POD, Linkin Park, that rap.
Love Linkin Park.
Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, some of those. I love those bands. They still hit.
For me, it'd be rap. It'd be rap.
Yeah.
But, I get it. I think that's the beauty of it. My first job in college, I went to Seton Hall. Our radio station was a full-time heavy metal station. Mm-hmm. We had a good sports department, so I did it. I would do the overnights, a 4-hour shift from 2 to 6. I would get in, queue up the longest songs I could find. Same songs every time.
I did that at ZLX.
Yep. That's it. And I would just sit back. I don't care. People would call in. I wouldn't answer. I don't understand heavy metal.
Those are some of the best callers, though, those midnight callers that call into the music stations. Trust me.
I don't understand it. I'll probably never like it, and that's fine. Music's beautiful for that.
Okay.
We said we were going to talk Micah Parsons.
We've been teasing the hell out of it. It's coming. I'm notoriously bad at this because I'll always tease something and I just get something comes up and I never get to it.
We're getting to know each other, Mark.
Yeah.
I like it. And
this
this is our
good.
first time literally meeting, hosting together. So as you say, you're going to go Micah Parsons. I bring up music, and then I'm sidetracking it.
All right.
I'm the guy. We're on a road trip, and I'm like, hey, let's stop and look at this view.
This is typically how a Sunday morning show goes, by the way. So
Get
we're
the-
good.
get the train on the
When
tracks.
we get back, we'll see what sidetracks us next here on the 98.5 The Sports Hub Show with Mark Dondero and George Balekji.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5.
on it. It's when I'm in the gym or driving sometimes. Otherwise, I'm like, I need to not hear words. Okay. And I don't have kids yet. You can.
Yeah. No.
Who am I to say this to you?
No. I mean, it gets stressful. I mean, adulting is stressful.
True.
But yeah, I'm a big music guy. That's why I'm not going to get on you for not having seen the Rudy movie, because there's a ton of. I'm not a big movie guy, so there's a lot of movies I haven't seen. So what did they get? What was after The Morning Glory? Did they have a big album after that?
Let me check, and I got to make sure I have my name correct.
Jeff doesn't even know. So this is why I'm so confused and why they're so huge. That was 30 years ago. But I guess, hey, the Backstreet Boys are making $4 million a show at the Sphere. So you can come. I guess that's what I read.
Buddy of mine went. He said,
can come.
Unbelievable.
I guess that's a great venue for a concert.
That's what he said. He goes, A, it's Backstreet Boys, who we grew up with. He goes, B, it's the Sphere.
I tried to get my wife to go. She didn't want to do it. I should have just
Backstreet Boys?
Ticket. Yeah, because she used to like them back then. I should have just bought the ticket and said we're going.
Surprise, yeah. Definitely.
But whatever. I just like if NSYNC went on a tour, I feel like that'd be enormous. Even though they're old news, that era, that genre's dead or whatever, that'd be huge on the American landscape. So, whatever. All right. I'm almost thinking like we just start fresh for 11 because we've been teasing the heck out of Micah Parsons this whole time. Do you want us to go to break, Jeff, or do you want us to do this for a little bit and then hit it?
Let's talk some more music.
Talk a little bit for a few more minutes. Yeah, how about that? Then we can get right to the top of the hour.
I think that the Micah Parsons news is something that the Patriots have to very carefully assess, because if they're not where they need to be, they're going to be in the exact same situation very shortly, and that is making me nervous. And I think that there are so many enormous parts and storylines associated with this season. I feel like it is tough to pick one, but if I'm gonna ask you to do it, George. What is the biggest storyline that you see for the Patriots going into this season? The one story that you have to have if they're going to be successful going forward.
It's the most important position in American sports, as you said not even an hour ago. It's not Drake May being good. It's him taking a leap. And I'm a believer in Drake May. Me and McCarthy went back and forth yesterday and I love the idea of like who's going to be the future face of Boston pro sports in like 2 to 3 years. They were saying Roman Anthony. I'd go, guys, there's a quarterback that's going to be damn good. I think eventually Drake May will be top 5 in the league. And I think it's because of the structure now around him. He succeeded and showed flashes last year in spite of the entire mess it was. Worst offensive line, receiving room, non-existent run game, worst head coach. And that's part on Gerard Mayo. That's really on Robert Kraft. And that's going to be on him and Jonathan end of the day. But now with Josh McDaniels, Thomas Brown, Doug Marrone, Todd Downing, Mike Vrabel, that entire staff around him, it's a lot of experience, and an okay offensive line, an okay receiving room, he needs to take a leap. I have this as a 10-win team. I think the defense is going to be good. We'll see Christian Gonzalez's hamstring, because now that's sneaking in as a big storyline. If you don't have CB1 and Carlton Davis can be banged up, and you see the pass rush. But end of the day, you say for success of the team, it's the quarterback. The defense will be good. The defense will be top 15, top 10 in the league. They'll win one-possession games because they have Mike Vrabel. But it's what can Drake May do late in the game? I need to see that from him. That's the biggest storyline. It's the quarterback, to your point, because he's on a rookie-scale contract. They need to get an elite number 1 receiver. They just paid all that money in free agency on their defense. They now have their left tackle, left guard. Will Campbell will be a left guard eventually. But when you start paying guys up, you need to hit on the window of the rookie-scale contract like the Commanders. Like what the Texans did 2 years ago. Now they need to get back to it. That's the biggest storyline to me.
There is no doubt that the quarterback is huge. The two things I want to see from Drake May this year. Can you win games? Can you be the reason that the Patriots win games at the end of games?
Late game execution.
Yeah, like
100%.
what he did last year in Tennessee. Can you do more than that was a ridiculous.
And that was like luck, too. That was fun.
Yeah.
But when I watched that, to be honest, I wasn't excited in the moment because I'm like, this is a mess.
It was a mess.
That's not a winning play.
No, but it did speak to his ability to cultivate a little magic. You know, so whatever. I need more of that. I need to have a feeling that, hey, Drake's got the ball. I'm gonna feel something good, positive going forward here in the short term, in this during this drive, whatever. Because I think as the quarterback, That's important. You want to create a belief that we're going to be good. We're going to find a way because you have me, because I have the ball in my hands, and I want to see Drake May have more moments like that, even if he's played a poor game. Can you, at the end, find a way to be the reason that your team wins? That's number one. And then number two, can you find a way to get the Patriots in a position to beat a team, preferably a good team, but a team in general, when the opposing quarterback is playing well?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When he's the starting quarterback of the team. They beat backups.
Okay,
right?
or well, fine.
No, but you're right. No, but you're right. Like,
even if it's a backup, if the other quarterback, like,
I'm saying to your point, they could be backups. They haven't done that in a while, beating good quarterbacks.
Right. And can you win a game that isn't 17-13 or 20-14? 38-31, 35-31. Can you win one of those games because you're able to put the points up and get into a shootout and be comfortable playing that type of game? It can't always be we're going to ground and pound and take the air out of the ball and shut down the other quarterback, even though your defense might be playing great. I don't always want to live that life. I don't want to have that identity, play with that style, all of the above. They need to evolve. They need more explosive plays. I'd like for them to have a great defense, obviously. But those are the two biggest things I'm looking for out of Drake May. What I love is interceptions and turnovers to come down. And I know Barthy was talking about one a game. That'd be a good spot for him to be. Yes, I agree with that. I love that. But I want to know, can you win games at the end, no matter how you play? Can you be the reason that the Patriots pull out wins? And can you find a way to get the Patriots to a point where they can beat a team where the opposing quarterback plays well? Those two things are what I'm looking for.
I just want them to remember, I'm going to go back to 1998. But Peyton Manning had 28 interceptions his rookie season, right?
Right.
McCarthy was writing off, and I wish he was here in the studio because I understand what he's saying, though. He's like, Drake May, we still have a lot to see. There was a lot of bad turnovers, lost fumbles, bad decision interceptions. He was a rookie with the worst offensive line, the worst receiving room, a non-existent run game,
right.
First-time offensive play caller, first-time head offensive line coach, first-time wide receivers coach, a guy that had no grasp on that, and a first-time head coach that had no grasp on the actual operation of the entire football team. So, the interceptions were bad, but I focus on the flashes, and I expect him to take a step forward. There's a lot is on Josh McDaniels, and a lot's on Drake May this upcoming season. On top of Mike Vrabel, to your point, I still want to see them win 17-13 or 21-17, the one possession games, because Mike Vrabel, when you bring him in, he gets you winning those games instead of losing them. Do I want to see them blow out some teams, run away with wins? Yes. But they need to win those one-possession games. And to your point, Mark, about beating good quarterbacks, I'm going average or better than average when I'm listing off these QBs. But this year, we'll see them go against Geno Smith, who they open up against, Josh Allen, Cam Ward, we'll see Michael Penix, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. They have a very easy quarterback schedule, but they will face average, and then three guys that are top four in the league, in Burrow, Allen, and Lamar Jackson.
I wonder if you go back to that 1998 season, though, and we're not going to go back and study the tape on Manning that year. But yes, he had all those interceptions, but how many times during that year did you watch him and say, wow, look at what he did there in making that read?
Yeah.
Look at what he did there pre-snap.
And that's what I've noticed with Drake May.
Does he do things pre-snap that impress you?
Pre-snap, I couldn't tell. I think Josh McDaniels will challenge him pre-snap. But post-snap, what he was good is making a read on a cornerback. I brought up the play yesterday. It was a throw he made to Austin Hooper against the Bears.
Yeah.
Deep field crosser, right sideline, really tight window. The second the cornerback decided to go with the deep post, he made a decision and he released the ball to Austin Hooper and fit it into a tight window, like one of one elite throw. And that's what I remember. So, right, like everyone, the Tennessee play. I remember the random first quarter throw against Chicago. That shows me a quarterback that can understand post-snap. But pre-snap, he has to make a leap. And Josh McDaniels, that's a challenge he brings in.
That's what I need to see. I have no idea how efficient he is. Does he have all the answers to the tests? Does he have, the things that Brady did well? Obviously, he's not going to be Tom Brady. Can he get close to that? Can he be a little bit like him in that regard? Can he be savvy and smart and get the Patriots into the right play? That's what Tom Brady was so great, and that's what wins. That's what, especially if you don't have elite talent, what the Eagles were working with or what the 49ers have been working with for the last few years, with these elite playmakers around the quarterback where you could just be the point guard. Brady was so dynamic in the way that you never really understood why, but that year in 2001, especially when he just started, 2000 early on, they just found ways to win. You don't know why he didn't look that dynamic in terms of throwing it physically, explosive and all that, but they just were always in a position to win, and they found a way to win usually because of Tom Brady, even if it didn't look that explosive. That's what I need to see more of out of Drake May, even though physically it's all there. Can you just find a way to make me feel good that when you have the ball late,
you have confidence
they're going to find a way to win because of Drake May? That's what I want to see and feel.
It's one of those two. And again, what you expect from Mike Vrabel, when I say you're winning one possession games, he knows how to either win the game in the second half or get you back into it or keep you in it. And then, what's the job of the quarterback? You're running the offense. You keep the offense moving downfield. It was a composure of Tom Brady. It was like, you talk about the pre-snap, and you know it. And maybe people forget because it's been a while since he's played here. He had his opponent beat Saturday night before it even got to game day. It wasn't what he did post-snap. It was what he did the second he broke the huddle. He had you beat because he knew all the answers.
The foot speed and the lack of athleticism, it didn't come into play because he knew where the ball was going before he even hiked it. That was the key.
The most talented quarterback I've ever seen play the position is Patrick Mahomes. Me growing up, though, was Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
But the greatest football player I've ever seen was Tom Brady. Yeah. He was never the most talented, never had the strongest arm, but he could rip it deep, but he would know how to set you up for 3.5 quarters, and then in the fourth, he would lull you to sleep. You'd think he's going to dink and dunk, and then he'd hit you over the top. And he never had the most talented receiving room ever, except for 2007, until Randy Moss was traded away. And we know how ridiculous that was, but he didn't have the defense to support. That might lead in a little bit to your talk about the Micah Parsons trade.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that when we get back. I'm not wasting any more time, Jeff. I'm going to tell you that I loved what Jerry Jones did. And I'm going to tell you why when we get back. When we get back.
I did not know that's where... Wow, this is going to be good. All right, Mark.
Dondero, George Balekji. George is going to get you caught up with headlines. We'll be back, and I'll tell you why I loved what Jerry Jones did. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Telfair Tire Studios, it's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox dropped 2 straight against the surging Pirates yesterday, 10-3 the final score. Pittsburgh has now won 8 of their last 10 games. Special part and thanks to Dustin May's 6 earned runs over 5 1/3 innings pitched yesterday for Boston. Luckily, Lucas Giolito starts today. First pitch, 1:35 p.m. And Chris Sale made his return off the 60-day IL for the Braves yesterday, pitching 6 innings, 1 earned run. Atlanta fell to the Phillies 3-2 in the 10th thanks to a Trey Turner walk-off hit. And Boston College transfer Tommy Castellanos led Florida State to a 31-17 upset win over 8th-ranked Alabama last night. Castellanos threw for 152 yards, ran for 78 and a score, while also Boston College opened the season with a 66-10 win over Fordham. New Eagles QB1 Dylan Lonergan threw for 268 yards and 4 touchdowns. This hour of the Sports Hub is brought to you by the A Voice for Mikey Autism Foundation Gala on Wednesday, September 3rd at the Cape Club in Sharon. Guests will enjoy an evening of dinner, dancing, celebrity appearances, and more. 100% of the proceeds go to support families struggling to care for an autistic child. To purchase tickets or donate, please visit avoiceformikey.com. That's avoiceformikey.com. George Balekji here with the Sports Hub headlines. We'll have more after this.
There we go.
Boom. I win. Boom. Yeah.
It's so funny.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub. The Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
In our judgment, this gives us a better chance to be a better team than we have been the last several years. Since Micah's been here. Not any negative on Micah, but we're trying to get better. We're trying to stop the run and stay in the hunt.
I love this trade for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, let me explain to you something. And I don't understand why this is so hard to get. You win nothing without the quarterback. Okay? Dak Prescott to me, now I covered Dak. We were talking about college. I covered Dak when he was at Mississippi State.
Good dude.
He's a wonderful young man.
Seems like it.
But as a quarterback, I don't believe in him. Okay? So I think it was ridiculously... So if you don't want to talk about Jerry Jones in a positive light, here's why I would do that. The contract he gave Dak Prescott was stupid. Dak Prescott's not good enough. So I don't like what he did there. Okay? The Cowboys have no chance to win the Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. Respect to Dak Prescott, but they have no chance. The quarterback isn't good enough. The coach isn't good enough. They're not good enough. Okay? With that being the case, there is no way I am giving $49 million a year, whatever it was, $47 million a year to a defensive end or an outside linebacking pass rusher. I'm not doing it. That position is so overrated. Now, I understand that we've seen teams win with the stable of pass rushers. We saw the Eagles do it. Obviously, we've seen the Giants do it. I'm not saying it's not important. But sometimes just having the one marquee pass rusher, I do think is overrated. Go see J.J. Watt. Go see Myles Garrett. Go see these different guys that have done nothing to change the teams. Okay? There is no way I am giving that player at that position that type of money if I'm the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Jerry shouldn't have given the money to Dak Prescott because he's not good enough. And none of the fans want to see this. None of the fans want to hear this. I get that, and I don't blame them. But you don't win anything unless your quarterback is either elite or the roster around him is elite. The Cowboys have neither. And even though Micah Parsons physically and on paper is a great player, he wasn't enough. They don't have enough to go do what the Eagles did or what the 49ers have done in recent years. They don't have the coaching. They don't have the quarterback play. They don't have the guys around him. They don't have enough. They were not going to win the Super Bowl, and they should have traded Micah Parsons for picks. They absolutely should have. Okay? And you can comment on this, George, but it's also relevant to the Patriots because this is a key year. Okay? You brought up Christian Gonzalez. Okay? His contract, they're going to have to start thinking about his contract extension soon.
Oh, they already are.
Okay.
You see what Sauce Gardner's getting, what these other corners are?
If you get yourself into a bad situation, if you start handing out those types of contracts as a team that doesn't have the quarterback or isn't close, okay? If you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you have a guy named Chris Jones, okay, and his deal is up, and he wants Micah Parsons' money, then you pay Chris Jones that money. Why? Because you're close. You are there. You've won the championship, or you're right there to win the championship. And he might be the piece that could get you over the hump. Then you pay the defensive lineman, that one defensive lineman, that money. Because you're close and you have a chance to get it done and win it all. The Cowboys do not. I don't care what this. Dak Prescott is not good enough. They're not close. You do not pay that player and get yourself cash strapped for no reason when all you'd be doing it for is to save some face, to make the fans happy, and just so you can remain maybe decent. Not good enough. You trade that guy for picks, and you don't like to hear it, but you're essentially rebuilding because you're not close enough and you can't win it.
They're stuck with that Dak contract until 2027. They're stuck with that CD Lamb contract. I understand you going with that route of that one edge rusher. Is he the best in the game? Yes. Is he the best defensive player in football? Yes. Now, people prefer Myles Garrett. He's over the age of 30. People prefer TJ Watt. He's above the age of 30. Chris Jones, to your point, he's 31, 32. Older, yeah. But he's a finishing piece. But with edge rushers, where that is now the highest paid position outside of the quarterback, and then a receiver will reset it. With Micah Parsons, you have 5 years left of his prime. He just turned 26. And the thing with Jerry Jones, you go back to the extension Dak signed in 2021, I want to say. He wanted $30 million a year. Jerry Jones dragged it out. He ended up getting $40 a year. Then he just signed that massive extension, which astronomical money, and I agree with you with Dak. Is he an MVP caliber quarterback? Yes, but that's regular season. He's a great regular season QB, or he once was. The injuries have racked up. He's gotten older. I like that.
An MVP caliber quarterback?
He's
I don't
been,
see that.
Before, even returning from that broken ankle, he's been in the MVP conversation. But then the end of the season, guys overtake him. CeeDee Lamb is the third best receiver in the game after Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
All right.
And there's preference. But when you have Dak through 2027, you're stuck with that money. And even 2028, it'll still cost you if you want to trade or cut him. When you have CeeDee Lamb through 2028, you're not rebuilding yet. It's how he managed all of this. He could have signed Micah Parsons last year, and Myles Garrett and TJ Watt would have reset the market. They would have been the highest paid guy. But he didn't do that. I understand this trade of what the cost would have been, but Jerry Jones, being a moron, is what allowed this to happen. He let Dak drag out and he waited to pay him, and then he reset the market. He let CeeDee Lamb drag out. He should have extended him. Rare time I'll give him credit. What did the New York Jets do this offseason? Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner got ahead of the market, didn't even let them get to that fifth-year option, and paid them now. They're highly paid. In 2 years, they're going to be a bargain. It's how he handled the whole thing with Micah Parsons, but it makes sense. Yes. Are they Super Bowl contenders in reality? No. But the window of a rebuild doesn't make sense now. You sign Micah Parsons, you take your medicine because you're Jerry and you're an idiot. But guess what? You're a better team with Micah Parsons now, paying your quarterback and receiver all that money than you are without him. Because the 2 first-round picks they got, that's prospects. Kenny Clark, he's okay. He's about to be 29, 30. He's all right. It was Jerry Jones getting embarrassed, and it probably was, honestly, Mark, more than roster building because the reports came out, I believe it was Albert Breer. It's Micah Parsons doing the Bleacher Report podcast and all the things he does off the field where that was creating a fracture in the locker room that got all the way up to Dak. And Dak's a guy. He's a quarterback. He's paid. He's a leader, to your point. Great human being. He's earned that right to go, Jerry. The way this kid is doing it, it's not right. And he's going to be the second highest paid on this team. That matters to the team. But when it comes to winning games, this was not a winning football move. Those first-round picks, those are prospects. He's the best pass rusher in a pillar position. Offensive line, you haven't figured out. Your defense stunk, but was never healthy. Your cornerbacks were okay, but they got better there kind of in the draft. The receiving room is okay. The issue with this, it's Jerry Jones. He no longer can be the general manager. Stephen Jones, I don't think his son either. Will McClay is their VP of player personnel. The way they draft, Mark, is phenomenal. When they have a top 25 pick, they hit every time. Will McClay is phenomenal at his job. That's a guy, when we were looking at the changes coming in New England, I'm looking around the teams, I'm like, who drafts well? That's who I want. He's been there, I think, 20 plus years. He'll probably never leave because he knows what he's walking into every day, good or bad. It's working for Jerry, but it's being in Dallas, and he's phenomenal at his job. Jerry Jones, he wasted Dak Prescott in his prime. He's wasting CeeDee Lamb. He wasted landing Micah Parsons, and he's wasting a really good personnel guy in Will McClay as well. I don't agree with trading him at all because your team got worse, and all you got back was 2 first-round picks too. What did Jerry alluded to, the Herschel Walker trade? Brother, that was 30 years ago.
Okay.
The game hasn't passed him by. It's left him behind.
Okay. I'm going to respond to George.
Go ahead.
We got to get to a break. When we get back, more on this because it's a fascinating discussion. And I'm going to tell you who's to blame in part for the Cowboys being in this situation. I know you talked about Jerry Jones. There's a lot to respond to there. We're going to do that when we get back. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5.
Yeah, exactly.
Or hard rock, I get distracted.
Yeah.
I'd rather have like chill country if I'm playing golf.
Fair.
Or this was fine yesterday. Yeah, I'm not like into the music, but I'm just trying to play golf. So, yeah,
it's a rap. It's the lyrics.
Yeah, I don't know why
there's words.
You don't want to be that amped up when I try to kind of chill when I'm
quiet
playing
the mind.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want those things stimulating me while I'm trying to focus on hitting the ball. So we were talking about the Micah Parsons deal. I love it. Why?
I
Because
hate it,
I just and I see what you're saying about being a winning move. I just think they don't have the quarterback. And if you don't have the quarterback, you're screwed. You're screwed in the NFL by and large. And you know who's to blame for that? The NFL. The NFL. And it's a shame. Okay, because I don't want to be, back in my day and that guy. But the NFL has done this to themselves, where between all the rules changes and the safety protocols and there's no preseason and you can't practice like you used to and the lack of physicality in the league and defenses can't play defense and all these different things, they have done this to themselves. And that's why you can't win without the elite quarterback. That didn't used to be the case, George. Mm-hmm. And it should still be that way, but it's not. Like, you should be able to win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. You should be able to win a Super Bowl through running the ball and playing defense. Running back should matter more because you have an elite one, but maybe not an elite quarterback. You should still be able to win a Super Bowl. You can't do that today. It's out of the question today. You can't do it. You need the quarterback play because we've seen teams with okay quarterbacks that are loaded, that have a ton of support, the Niners, even the Eagles before this last year.
I was going to say.
They need that support. Jalen Hurts, okay? What's the record last year of, usually, you put a good quarterback on a team, it changes the franchise, right? What's the Chicago Bears record last year if you swap Caleb Williams with Jalen Hurts?
That offensive line was terrible. And Caleb Williams was still making plays like he's at USC. Like, poor decisions, I would say. Eagles. So you're saying for the Bears, that Bears record, I would have to give them improving by 2 or 3.
2 or 3. Okay, so
I would have to.
They were 4-8 last year. Check that. Yeah.
With Caleb.
Hold on. They were 5-12 overall. That was with Caleb Williams, and then Eberflus was let go or whatever. What's their record if Jalen Hurts is there all year? They were 5-12 last year. You give him 7-10.
Jalen Hurts, he played the game last year. Like, 2 all-pro caliber tackles, stud offensive line that they made Mekhi Becton look like a guy that's an all-pro guard. Best offensive player in football, not named Josh Allen, in Saquon Barkley. And an elite defense. Like, everything but the quarterback. So, to your point, though, if you swap Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, Eagles still win the Super Bowl last year, in my opinion. Because of the run game, the offensive line, and that defense.
That's right.
The Cowboys?
What do the Cowboys do?
That's a good one I would like to go with. Oh, man, look at that losing streak by the Bears. Like, I would believe Jalen Hurts beats the Commanders when they're losing 18-15. I'm talking the Bears here. I'd believe they'd beat Green Bay when they're losing 20-19. I believe they'd put up more than 3 points when they lost to Seattle 6-3. Thank God I was not watching the Chicago Bears. Yeah. I know we watched the Patriots last year.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the Cowboys.
They were 7-10 last year. I just don't think, and I like Jalen Hurts. I like his game. I like that he's an adult. I think he's a good quarterback in terms of the leadership aspect he brings to the position. I just don't think he's all that special in terms of being a dynamic, game-changing talent. I think if you put him on the Bears, they still suck. I think if you put him on the Cowboys, they're still probably not over 500. I think you might be right with Dak Prescott. You put him on the Eagles, they probably still win the Super Bowl with all those pieces. So my point is, you needed that unbelievable talent and support for Jalen Hurts, and Hurts was good. He was a good fit for what they were able to do. Brock Purdy could never do it. I don't know if it was exactly equal in terms of the support around them, Kyle Shanahan, whatever. But he was able to win. Good for him. But I don't think he's some game-changing talent where if you put him on a bad situation, the worst situation in the league, he turns it around and then they all of a sudden are a playoff team. I don't think that. I think they'd suck. Even with if he doesn't have the support, the coaching, the weapons, they're going to still be bad. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Because of this is the NFL and this is what the league has created. Okay? You've created a situation where the quarterback has to be dynamic, whether it's because they're dynamic, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or because they've got so much support, it allows them to take advantage of the support to be dynamic as an offense. You cannot win with good running, only good line play and defensive dominance. You can't. You have to have. Trent Dilfer's not winning a Super Bowl now. Okay, even bad quarterbacks, they better be playing like all pros. Nick Foles, not a good quarterback, but when he won that stretch, he was playing like an all-pro.
Lights out.
Joe Flacco in 2012, what do you have, 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions during that playoff run? Not a great quarterback all time, but during that run,
he went unconscious.
You have to find a way to do that now, or you're not going to win. You cannot be average at quarterback and do everything else well, and that's because the NFL has done that.
Detroit was a monster last season. I just don't have faith that Jared Goff could eventually flip that switch. I'm talking last year. Now without Ben Johnson, forget it.
And be a good enough quarterback?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had great offensive line, 2 great running backs, good receiving room, good defense. That Eagles team, and it's not a recency bias. When you look at what they did, how deep that defensive line was, how they hit in the draft on Cooper DeJean and Kenyon Mitchell, along with their safeties room. All those guys on rookie scale contracts. Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson at the tackle position, getting Saquon Barkley, who is finally healthy, and look what he did. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who were them too. They were passengers on that team. Right. That was a run-first offense. To what you're raising on, look at Joe Burrow. 3rd best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. But now he's at the realm and at the mercy of really bad ownership because he might be wasted away. He is great. He's not dynamic enough to carry a team. They missed the playoffs. The defense was absolutely terrible. They let J.C. Bates leave. They let DJ Reader leave. Let all these guys walk. They can't even get their rookies under contract that they're taking in the first round. They are a mess. They wasted, and they will, in my opinion, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Maybe needs a better head coach. Joe Burrow needs to go to better ownership. I don't think he wins a Super Bowl wearing a Bengals uniform. When he got there against the Rams and eventually fell to Stafford, that's what it was. That was his chance. The NFL created this issue. It's how they're paying the quarterbacks, how much money are going to these guys. And they have the salary cap. But it's also ownership that doesn't want to pay. That's where I get so confused by Jerry Jones. Because he never signs outside free agents. Mm-hmm. They never do. And he talks about negotiations and wants to be shrewd, but he drags it out with his guys and ends up overpaying. Or if he does the smart thing, like what the New York Jets did, get ahead of the market, and a year before they even get into the negotiation table, extend your pillar guys, a corner and a wide receiver. Yes, it'll stink now. It's guaranteed money, but it saves. What do the Chiefs do every year? Here you go. Here's more guaranteed money, Patrick. And that frees up the cap space, but it's real money. Jerry, as rich as he is so shrewd and cheap, and it bites him in the ass. And that's what's putting them behind.
They should be doing what the Red Sox are doing. They should be getting ahead of some of these contracts. Now, the Red Sox, there's no salary cap, so that's a separate conversation. But the Cowboys should have been doing that and trying to get ahead of some of these contracts for their key players. I'm just saying, my point is, in this day and age, in today's NFL, I agree with what Jerry Jones did. Get rid of the pass rusher that you're going to have to pay $47 million a year for, and especially when you don't have the quarterback, get the draft capital. You draft well. You said that guy's there that's been drafting well. Let him go to work.
Will McClay.
Try to draft well and try to do that. 25 years ago, I would not have done that. I would have signed Micah Parsons and tried to roll with him and collect his money because you didn't need the absolute most elite quarterback of all time to be in the mix to win the Super Bowl. Or the most elite offense of all time to be in the mix to win the Super Bowl. So back then, it made sense. All right, we're not perfect at quarterback, but this guy is a game wrecker. He can be dynamic on defense. We're going to keep him in the mix. Now, without the quarterback, it doesn't matter. So you could have Micah Parsons up the ass. It doesn't matter. You're not going to win. So why pay that money and get yourself further behind? And then you limit your get the capital and try to begin. They need a new quarterback, but you've got to begin a rebuild, and you got to get a new quarterback. And then once you get the quarterback, then you're in I'd rather be the Bengals because at least they have the quarterback. I agree. It still takes a defense. You can't do it alone.
Yeah.
But at least they have the quarterback. So you have a chance with that guy. You just need to be competent doing other stuff, drafting defense, having good coaching, at least you got the quarterback and you have a chance with the quarterback. Without the quarterback, you have really no chance unless you can get so loaded. But that takes special effort from special people that are really, really at the elite level of drafting.
It's also them going back to last season, September, when they give that 4-year, $240 million extension to Dak. Like, that's part of it. 231, I believe, guaranteed as well.
Yeah.
They give them that guaranteed money, relieves it off the cap. It's real money. But it's when they do that, too. Where they could have Micah Parsons. They could have that elite pass rusher. And if they just were smarter with Dak from the jump. Because that's when I brought up that 4-year, $160 million. Yeah, that was 2021. Why not 2 years into that? Here's a new 4-year deal. Just keep getting ahead of the market. He just waited and waited and waited. And now when I talk about the Eagles and everything they did when it came to their success, Josh Sweat, premier edge rusher for them in the Super Bowl, late round draft pick. Milton Williams, who the Patriots just paid late in the draft, defensive lineman.
Yep.
Now Jalen Carter, of course, he's the best at his position. He was a first round pick. He fell to them and they took him. There's being smart with constructing the team. But when it comes to the quarterbacks, to your point, think of the guys like Joe Burrow, number 1 overall pick. Jared Goff at one point, first rounder. The one thing that makes Jalen Hurts the anomaly is he was a second round pick. He started out as a backup, but then to get him to the point of winning a Super Bowl, they had to build that super team around him. The guys, when you talk about contenders, Lamar Jackson, first round pick. Patrick Mahomes, top 15 pick. Josh Allen, top 15 pick, right? Joe Burrow, again, I said it, number 1 overall pick. Brock Purdy, anomaly. Bo Nix, we'll see what he becomes with Sean Payton, top 15 pick. Matt Stafford, former number 1 overall pick. Same thing with C.J. Stroud. I'm going through the quarterbacks that when you look at them and go, they would give you a chance to win the Super Bowl. For Jalen Hurts to work out, it's such a one of one. But again, look at that team. You know, when I look at that Eagles team, who I compare them to, it's when Peyton Manning won his Super Bowl with the Broncos. Now, Peyton Manning at that point was like barely even drop back and pass. That defense was elite. Elite.
Yes.
But that's what they built in Philly. But Jalen Hurts, much better than what Peyton was in Denver. But that's the point it gets to. So, yeah, that's where it's tough for me to go, this was a good move, because it is the end result of bad moves made before. The CeeDee Lamb negotiation, the Dak Prescott negotiation.
Sure.
That's what's tough. Premier edge rushers like Micah Parsons, you don't just let him go, because that's a guy you hope and you pray for. Like Abdul Carter, who the Giants just took. They hope he's even close to Micah Parsons, and he was a number 2 overall pick. Don't even know if he'll get to that point. With the first round picks, especially to the Packers now, that's going to be a good team. Those are going to be late in the first. What are you drafting there? But they are resetting the clock. They're going into I don't want to say a rebuild. They're doing like a soft relaunch, you know? Yeah. I thought that's what the Bills would be this last season. Stink, hit rock bottom, quote unquote. You have Josh Allen, maybe you miss the playoffs. They did well. So yeah, the Cowboys are resetting.
Buffalo would have been a team that I would have paid Micah Parsons, because you feel like you need that
Josh
one
Allen.
guy. You have that.
Yes.
You have the quarterback, and you need that one guy to maybe get you over the top. You've been close. You can't get over the Chiefs. Is that going to screw up your drafts coming up? Probably, but you're close. You got to win one. You went to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s. You lost all of them. Whatever, just F it. Just win one. Give me Parsons. Take the picks. Just win one, and we'll reset after that. Whatever, because you're trying so hard to get over the hump. Dallas, they don't have the quarterback to do it, and that's why I just feel like it was something I don't like that the league is in that place, but that's what it is. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, George Balekji here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's on Netflix.
I need to.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome. It is. I'm not done with it. It is on the level of The Last Dance. It's not as good. Now, keep in mind, this is my, I was a little young when the Cowboys were winning, so I don't really remember. I remember it, like everybody had the starter jackets, and you remember, Emmitt Smith and some of the games against the Bills. But it's not like I remember it play for play, game for game. But it's still like my era. And this is just awesome access, the storytelling, the presentation. If you're a football fan, it's awesome. The games with the 49ers, that rivalry back then was so electric. The talent was so good. Madden and Summerall and some of the matchups that they had, Jerry Rice and Irvin and Dion and Aikman and Smith. I mean, it was awesome. It's an awesome documentary. I highly recommend it if you're a football fan. But that's what the NFL should be. Still, like, you should be able to win a Super Bowl if you have an Emmitt Smith and a great line and great defensive play, even if your quarterback isn't unbelievable. I mean,
and that's what they had with Ezekiel Elliott and that offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, they had guys. I forget who was like Dez. Are you talking about Dez Bryant, or was it Elliott after? Elliott was. They
overlapped
a little bit, yeah.
But by the time Ezekiel Elliott was getting paid, Dez Bryant, I believe, was no longer there.
Okay.
But like, what's the peak of like the Dez Bryant era? Like elite quarterback and Dak with an elite receiver. Was that questionable catch or not, touchdown or not, Cowboys Packers?
That wasn't even Dak. That was Tony Romo.
That was Romo.
Yeah,
exactly. It was Dez and Romo. Then Dak comes in. It's hard. Like, windows are minuscule. As much as the Chiefs have won, and as much around here we've seen the Patriots win, windows in the NFL are minuscule. Look at the Niners. They had everything set up. They just paid Brock, and they're going to start to enter this. They let everyone go. They've completely redrafted their defensive line. They're hitting that hard restart, that hard rebuild after they paid Brock Purdy all that money. Brock, and I'm a Brock Purdy guy, not for that price.
No.
You can find someone else. Like, what will be interesting, the Jaguars. Now they have the head coach in Liam Cohen as an offensive mind, I believe. Trayvon Walker's made the steps forward. They now have the two receivers, Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, who will also be a cornerback. Can Trevor Lawrence stay healthy? But you know what they don't have? I don't believe in the offensive line. So much stuff has to go right.
Right. It's a key spot. But there is no, I mean, the Jaguars, if Trevor Lawrence is anything close to what he should have been, they should be a playoff team. They don't have to win a Super Bowl necessarily, but you got to be good enough to get that team into the playoffs, especially out of the AFC South. One thing we're going to do after the 12 o'clock hour. By the way, I forgot to mention this. Another thing that we have to do today, the 98.5. The 5, we take for those that don't know, George, if you don't know, a lot of times what I'll do on a weekend, I'll rank from 5 down to 1. I'll pick a category. We're going to rank the specific topics from 5 to 1. And today's category is week ones for the Patriots. I'm going to rank my top 5 week ones for the Patriots. That's later. We're going to do an NFL preview.
But your top, I got to think on this. Your top 5 week ones. Like week one?
My top 5 favorite week ones in Patriots history.
Got it.
You understand?
Yes. Now I do.
So we're going to do a little bit of that later. But I definitely, and again, this shouldn't be the case. And that's why, George, it's important for the Patriots. Because if Drake May doesn't hit, if he doesn't take that leap this year, which he has to in year 2, at least by the second half of the year, you better see him take that leap. Because if he doesn't, then you're going to be in that situation when it becomes, and we're going to have the conversation and people are going to be upset. Should you extend a guy like Christian Gonzalez, who's atop the market? He's a great cornerback. Should you pay him all that money to be on a team that's not close? That's the conversation we're going to have. And because the NFL is what the NFL is, if you don't have the quarterback, it doesn't make sense to build up a roster and spend all that money, especially on a cornerback, if you don't have anything close offensively. And they certainly don't outside the quarterback. We don't even know if they do with the quarterback. I mean, it's not like they've got, we'll see what Travion Henderson is and how the receivers play. I think they're actually going to be better than people think, but they're not what the Eagles were last year, the offensive line-wise and everything up and down the line. They need guys. I mean, the Eagles are drafting. They draft a guy in the second round. He's a starter at center. They make it look easy. Mm-hmm. Patriots, I mean, that would be a huge headlining, decade-long search that they finally fulfilled if something like that happened.
They took a guy 3rd overall, and they're hoping he works out at left tackle. That like inside the Mike Vrabel can say whatever he wants at the press conferences. He's a left tackle. He would be such an anomaly because of his shorter wingspan. And Barth and I went back and forth on this. It does matter. Like, those numbers eventually matter. The people that make these decisions at the highest level, those numbers are relevant because it matters to them. The Patriots are going to have 2 rookies starting on the left side of their offensive line. Will Campbell, an undersized left tackle, but a good run blocker, and Jared Wilson, a center at Georgia, who they have playing left guard, who's athletic enough to do that. And Garrett Bradbury, who the Vikings were like, with poor offensive line play, like, yeah, go ahead, it's okay. It's a lot of question marks up front. And we need to see an answer, to your point, Mark, from Drake May. You need to see a good year, too. And keep in mind, too, Josh Allen was terrible his rookie season. So inaccurate, was so raw, was bad his second year. Then year 3 is when he took off. That's when his completion percentage was actually around 67, 68%.
Okay.
You need to be patient with Drake May.
When did Josh Allen starting for the Buffalo Bills?
His rookie season, you're saying exact week?
Yeah, was it 2016, 17? When was he drafted? 2018. Okay, 2018. So I need to know, did he start as a rookie? I don't even remember.
He started from week 1. No, started week 2. I think they might have Nathan Peterman that year.
Okay, so he basically was in there.
Week 2, he was his first start of his career.
Okay, so I need to look. I need to look at what the Bills' records were over those years because I want to know. Everybody talks about the Josh Allen thing, and I think that is absolutely the outlier. That is not the norm. So he started in 2018, and that year he started in week 2. The Bills were 6-10. Okay, so how many years did it take for Josh Allen to figure it out? Was it 3? I mean,
no. Good question. It was his 3rd year in the league.
Okay,
and it was him and Brian Dable.
Okay,
working together, and that year 3 is what got Brian Dable a job.
Correct, and it was and Diggs coming in at one point obviously helped the thing.
Elevated.
So,
him.
But here's the deal. He started in week 2 of 2018. They were 6-10. Their records after that, though, 2019, 10-6. 2020, 13-3. And then we're talking about when he started to really find his footing. So my point is, even though it wasn't necessarily in his second year, they still were 10-6. And that wasn't a loaded team. So Drake May, you bet everybody likes to talk about Josh Allen. Wow, it's not just the second year. Well, it kind of was because he was still 10-6. He wasn't what he became, the MVP level player, but he was making enough plays. They were still good enough where they got that team to 10-6 in Josh Allen's second year, and they made the playoffs. And they lost that game. They lost that year to, I forget who they played, but they made the playoffs, and it was a good, productive season for Josh Allen, who in 2019, his second year, okay. He threw, and I don't know what analytical people will say. He threw for 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Improved from 10-12.
What was the completion percentage?
Completion percentage.
His first 2 seasons. Look at that jump.
52%, then 58%.
That's terrible.
Okay.
And then what's that jump in year 3?
Then 69%. He went to 69%. So
he got better within the margins. He had that raw talent, the arm strength.
But my point is, you still saw the improvement in year 2.
Yes.
It wasn't what it became. He wasn't MVP, but you still saw he got them to the playoffs. It was 10-6. He completely reversed the interception, the touchdown to interception ratio. The completion percentage still wasn't good enough. He was still taking too many chances. He wasn't accepting the check down. He might not have had the weapons that he ended up having when Diggs signed on, but he still improved. So don't act like Drake May can go out there this year and everything's hunky-dory just because he's only in year 2 or the beginning half of year 2. He needs to show a significant improvement. Might not be what he ultimately is. Doesn't have to get to that. But there better be an improvement, especially 10-6. That record needs to. They can't be 5-12 or 6-11 this year. That's not good enough. 617-779-0985. Not if you think you have the quarterback that we're all hoping Drake May is. All right. When we get back, more on the Patriots. We're eventually going to do the 98.5. We're going to do some Red Sox. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5, the Sports Up.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Hoppus or whoever was so over the moon. He's like, wow, Liam, so you like us? He was like, I didn't say that. And he just walked out. Like, that's, I don't know, like, for a guy I know nothing about, feels like he's got some swag.
Yeah.
Feels like he's just, like you said, Jed, doesn't give an F. And I mean, I'm fascinated by this whole thing. I've never seen anything like it in music where, and maybe it was just me being under a rock, like Metallica. Obviously, that's a huge fan of Metallica, but this band for me felt dead and outdated. And now they come back and they're like the biggest thing, opposite Taylor Swift. So I don't really know what's going on, but it's fascinating for me to see.
If I could get it at the right price, I'd go to an Oasis show.
Just because you want to see it, you want to experience it.
There are people I want to see perform live. Like I want to, again, J. Cole's one of my favorite rappers. I want to see him live. I'll go see Coldplay live. I really, outside of their hits, like their main three, I don't know Coldplay, but I know that's a performance.
Right.
You go, there's an experience. And there's certain performers, certain musicians that do that. Oasis, is it a performance? It's just a concert. It's just music. Or
you're just gonna have a good time with your buds, just jumping around and singing.
Again, as I'm going through, the only person I've ever seen live more than once, Zac Brown Band.
Really?
Oh, I love Zac Brown Band. So good.
So we're getting to know each other. I've said this before. As a fan, okay, I've actually been to more Kid Rock concerts than Patriots games. As a fan, I've been to more Patriots games covering them.
Same.
But I've been to 3 Kid Rock concerts and 2 Patriots games as a fan. Yeah. And the highlight for me, and we talk about this a lot, but like going to see a band in their prime. Like a few years ago, we went to see Elton John. It was a great show, but obviously not in his prime. He's far beyond his prime. But in 1999, I went to Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, and Stained right before they left for the Woodstock 99. That is that's the only time I was really watching a band that I truly enjoyed during the height of their powers. Like that's when they were lit. They were the top show in America or whatever it was, and it was awesome. Kid Rock is awesome live. I don't know what he's done recently. I haven't seen him in a while. I've seen Limp Bizkit twice. I've seen Kid Rock 3 times. Awesome every time.
Linkin Park would have been on my bucket list, but obviously R.I.P. Yeah,
so that sucks. That would have been high. I am going to buy tickets to that show in October for POD. I'm going to go.
Oh, I'm thinking about it, yeah.
Because that's a band I love POD.
POD?
I've loved POD.
What's POD?
Payable on Death. They have a couple songs that were, from that same era.
Okay.
Southtown, Rock the Party, Alive, Boom.
Where do they perform? In Gillette?
No, they're not that big.
Xfinity?
It's somewhere small
MGM.
Near MGM near Fenway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Hey,
it's a nice spot.
Best
you said it's a nice spot? Okay.
It's a small. It's a venue.
Yes,
it's big.
intimate.
But they've literally. You mentioned Linkin Park. They were one of them. POD's like atop the list of bands that I've wanted to see.
Okay.
I went to a Shinedown concert once at Hampton Beach. That was awesome.
Oh, at the ballroom? I love the ballroom.
I got arrested.
That's an awesome spot to see
got
a
arrested
show.
before. They thought we were drinking. A cop freaked out. They thought we were drinking, and he was like, "Open your trunk." So I opened my trunk. And in the trunk I had 9 baseball bats because I was playing college baseball. So the cop lost his mind, thought we were gonna use them as weapons, put us in the paddy wagon. It's like this little paddy wagon. This wasn't even a cop car. Put us in jail for I don't even know what.
Where was the jail?
You didn't even
get to the Hampton Beach. So they took, and we were
Hampton. You can't mess around on Hampton.
We got into the concert. They let us go. We were there probably an hour, but it was the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. He absolutely lost his mind because of the baseball bats.
He didn't comprehend. I play college baseball.
I tried to explain. He was out in a different space. Whatever.
Yeah.
So the Josh Allen conversation. I'm glad we were having that because this goes against everything everybody's been trying to say to me. And you got to give him time. No, you don't have to give him 3+ years. He needs to do it this year, George. It's got to be a specific, significant jump. Does he have to be the quarterback he's ultimately going to be? No. But I'm talking, you have to have a 500 record if you're going to be anything in this league. If he doesn't above 500, he's a bust.
Drake May.
Bust. If he can't get the Patriots above
year
500.
2. No. Now
so you're saying he could?
I need 68% completion percentage because he's further along.
Okay, fine.
Than what Josh Allen was.
Give me something. If it's not the record, give me the completion. But he can't come in at 52% and 6-11, and you tell me there's still something there.
He is further along than Josh Allen. When Josh Allen got in out of Wyoming, he was raw as raw can be. He was. Don't forget, Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a year. He had that late start in the season, threw for like 400 yards, but it was still like, all right, this guy's raw. He needs to be worked on. Didn't know how to read did not know how to read a cover 2 zone. Mahomes did until after his first Super Bowl win, which is insane, but that's Andy Reid working with Mahomes. That's why a lot depends on Josh Allen. Yes, I need to see a winning record out of Drake May. But no, there's no way after year 2 I'm going to call him a bust when you have a rookie left tackle, left guard. Your best receiver is 32 years old coming off a torn ACL. Where your RB1, I love what I see from TreVeyon Henderson. He's big. He's bigger than what I expected, and he's just as fast, runs well behind his pads. But your RB1...
TreVeyon Henderson?
TreVeyon Henderson's bigger than what I...
See, I didn't think he was that... Physically?
Watching him at Ohio State and then watching him in the preseason and going to training camp and watching him, like, he's bigger.
See, I thought the opposite. I thought he was smaller than I thought when I saw him in person.
I like this, but...
He's good. He's excellent. I can't wait to see him play. I just thought physically, I thought he was a little bit smaller than what I was expecting.
I was pleased to see his speed with his size. He runs behind his pads, which I do like. But I'm saying all this of, it takes time. It took time for the Eagles to build this up for Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
It took time. You said it. What helped Josh Allen make the jump? An elite number 1 receiver. The Patriots don't have that. I like the Kyle Williams pick. He's going to take time. I don't understand what they're doing, where they're cutting Kendrick Bourne but keeping a Kayshon Boutte. You would want an adult in the room. A guy like Kendrick Bourne that does everything right. Who's coming off a torn ACL this year. I think he's a good fit. But anyhow, they need the offensive line. Again, Mark, with the question marks, Morgan Moses, I don't know if he's going to make it through 17 games, 18 weeks. He's 34, 35. He's played a lot of football. He's coming off off-season knee surgery. Their center, I don't know if he's going to make it through. There's so many question marks. The defense is solid. I'm fine with it. That offense, this offensive line, there's no depth behind them. And if Will Campbell doesn't work out, Demontre Jacobs.
Oh, I don't want to hear that name.
So I can't have that happening. And say he goes 8-9, I'd be so impressed if stuff goes sideways. I can't have no 500 record. He's a bust. I'm patient. I believe in Drake May. I understand the criticism. Cut down the turnovers.
Yeah.
I think he does get them to 9 to 10 wins. I do.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a lot of promise in year 2. It's long term. It's the same thing too. This team is 2 to 3 years away from being legit. They can get into the playoffs because the AFC is open on the bottom half. But they're 2 to 3 years away.
This is an important conversation, and we need to continue this when we get back. We're going to get headlines from George. But is there anything that Josh Allen, is there anything Drake May can do this year? I know this is a negative way to ask this question, that you would consider him a bust after seeing. We'll answer that when we get back because this is very important, and the Josh Allen comparison is very important compared to Drake May, and I'm going to go into this a little bit more in detail when we get back. We'll get a headlines, no commercials. We'll be right back. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
From the Telstra Tire Studios, WBZ FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox looking to avoid a sweep at the hands of the Pirates today. Lucas Giolito starting for the Sox, 1:35 first pitch. Lineup is out. Roman Anthony, Alex Bregman, Jarren Duran, Trevor Story, that's 1 through 4. Nathaniel Lowe starting at first. Masataka Yoshida DHing. Romy Gonzalez, Cedon Rafaela, Carlos Narvaez. They'll be taking on Mitch Keller pitching for the Pirates. And Chris Sale made his return off the 60-day IL for the Braves yesterday, pitching 6 innings, 1 earned run. Braves fell to the Phillies, though, 3-2 in the 10th, thanks to a Trey Turner walk-off hit. And Boston College transfer Tommy Castellanos led Florida State to a 31-17 upset win over 8th-ranked Alabama last night. Castellanos threw for 152 yards, ran for 78 and a score. Also, Boston College opened the season with a 66-10 win over Fordham. New Eagles QB1, Dylan Lonergan, threw for 268 yards and 4 touchdowns. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Veterinary Urgent Care Center. With 8 locations in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, VUCC offers compassionate, convenient, high-quality care 7 days a week. Walk in or book an appointment at veturgentcare.com. Veterinary Urgent Care Center.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. When it comes to Boston sports, we're fans just like you. 98.5 The Sports.
Attention, okay? Do you think, well, I'm going to ask the question I asked. Do you think there's anything that Drake May could do this year that would make you think he was a bust?
Yes.
What
and
would
I
that
think
be?
it would be in the leadership. The one thing about him, like everything going as poorly as it can in your first year ever as a pro for Drake May, the amount of times that I'll listen to press conferences, I take everything with a grain of salt. They don't owe us any truth, any honesty, right? And like Tom Brady was great at being a robot and saying nothing. Obviously, Belichick. Drake May doesn't say much, but when asked about the team coming up short, offensive line, play receivers, he takes all the blame. He takes the accountability. Like that's a guy that will cover up for his teammates. How poor the tackle play was. He doesn't throw anybody under the bus. He's a leader you see it on the field. He's a competitor. Like he has
So if he throws people under the bus,
yes,
that would be a bust.
What I was
move.
yes.
Okay.
And like if we start seeing Mac Jones 2022?
21.
No, 21 was his rookie season. Year 2 was Patricia
you're talking
Judge,
about
right?
okay.
With the fits. Yeah. Like the tantrums. If I start seeing
Tantrums.
that, then I'm like, okay, because I think his mental fortitude really says a lot.
Okay.
And the decision making post snap. Again, as much as I'll praise him for he's looking at a corner, he's not reading the receivers. He knows where he's going with the ball post snap. When a cornerback makes a decision to either go with the deep post or stay underneath, he knows where he's going with the ball. He knows exactly where he's putting it. If all of a sudden that takes a step back, holding on to the ball too long, not getting it out quick, then that'll be okay. He's struggling with the complex NFL system. If the turnovers get bad too. But like it's going to take a lot, Mark. I'm a big believer in Drake May. It's going to take a lot for me to say even think about saying the B word.
You know what's funny? I don't want him to turn the ball over, and some turnovers are worse than others as well.
100%.
I'm not as concerned with the turnovers though. Like I want to see him make dynamic plays, and if that results in some turnovers, all right. But I need to make sure he can make the dynamic plays first, and then maybe you can reel it back in like Brett Favre, or if you're doing things that Brett Favre used to do, where he would have big plays but also turn the ball over. Fine, at least he had the big plays, and then work on the turnovers and not turning it over. I need to see the big plays happen though. Bust might be a strong word. Okay, maybe he wouldn't be a bust. However, George, if he is under 500 this year, he's not going to be the quarterback that I thought he might be. So is he a bust? Maybe that's too strong. He's not a bust, but maybe he's just a journeyman. Maybe he's just an average NFL quarterback. Maybe his ceiling is playoffs sometimes when the team and the roster around him is really good. If he is going to be the quarterback that we all think he can be and hope that he is, that team better be over 500 this year, or he's not going to be that quarterback. He's going to be okay. He's going to be decent. He could have a nice year once. If he's the real deal, that team will be over 500, and he will be the reason they've improved so much. Even if the percentage completion-wise isn't as good as you want, even if he's turning the ball over a little bit more than we want, he's going to find a way to get the Patriots wins. He's going to make enough plays to help the Patriots get wins, and they will be over 500, or else he's not going to be the quarterback that you hoped he could be. Might not be an outright bust. He's not going to be what you thought he would be. Damn it. Sorry.
8-9. If he's 8-9, and those are one possession losses that kept him between 8-9 and 9-8, still think he's a bust.
Well,
because you're putting a Sharpie on that 500.
But again, the bust, the B, that would be too strong.
What if he's 9-8, but it looks ugly?
Okay.
Right? That's where the fourth quarter comebacks and the 2-minute drives, that matters for a quarterback. I don't tie wins and losses to a QB, but he needs to show he's winning them games. I agree there. There's just so much with this guy that I believe in before I'm going to tie it to a record. And this is, again, It was when he was a sophomore. It was Phil Longo. I don't know who his OC was his junior year at UNC, his final year. It was Alex Van Pelt. Now it's Josh McDaniels. And to where I gave credit to getting Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen sticking with Brian Dable, it's Josh McDaniels year one with Drake May. It's Mike Vrabel year one with Drake May. And it's an offensive line that's not even close to being complete.
But you got to be, if you're the quarterback, you've got to be good enough. You've got to be good enough to get the team to a point where they're better. I don't care about the things around them. You are the quarterback, and I'm not asking for the Super Bowl. I'm just asking that you get to a point where you're above 500, and I haven't done it, but you go through all the teams with elite quarterbacks, the type of quarterback you want your guy to be. Mm-hmm. Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Go look at their second full year starting. Were any of them under 500? Probably not. Now, I didn't go through it all. I didn't complete the exercise. Probably not, okay? I think in Burrow's case, they might have been 10-7, but they went to the Super Bowl in his second year.
10-6 for Burrow.
Okay. So, look, you need to be over 500 or you're not that quarterback. I don't care what the team, especially when you talk about what they do have this year, which, like I said, I'm higher on than a lot of people. I don't think the cupboard is bare at receiver. Okay, I disagree with you on Kendrick Bourne. I think he had to go. And I'll tell you what, Kayshon Boutte, and I don't know this, but the practices I've been to, I feel like they've got some plans for Kayshon Boutte this year.
I think so,
I think he's going to be in the mix. I think they're going to try to – it's almost like they're grooming him to be the number 2 receiver. I feel like they've got some plans. And I'm going to say another thing about Josh Allen here. In his third year, that's when they acquired or they traded for Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, it's when they traded for him. Yep.
Okay. Why did they do that? Because in year 2 – now, I don't know this, but this is my theory here. I'm based on what we've seen. In year 2, Josh Allen showed that he was worth that investment. Mm-hmm. Was he where he was going to get to eventually? No, but he showed enough. Okay, this is a quarterback that has taken us from whatever we were in 2018, bad, to 10-6. He's made some strides. The completion percentage wasn't there, but we're going to continue to support him. He made strides. He looks the part. He's doing well. Now let's give him this guy to really see if he can get to the next level. If you didn't show that, that's not worth the investment because then again, you get to where the Cowboys are. Why invest? Now, maybe it's a last-ditch effort to save your quarterback, but if you're doing that, you're probably in a bad... The only thing you're going to do is get them to mediocre, probably, if you're doing if you're executing a last-ditch effort to trade for somebody that could save your quarterback. And besides, you don't want to have to give up that much because if you don't have the quarterback, then you're screwed. They viewed that year 2 as reason to make the investment in a player like a number 1 receiver in what Stephon Diggs was at that time. I don't think he's still that player, but in 2020, he was. So you made that investment, you made that trade, you got that deal done, and you did that for your quarterback because of what he showed you in year 2. The Patriots need to see that from May, so they're willing to do something like that, make that investment, or else if you make that investment and you don't have the quarterback, you're based on everything we've discussed and what I've brought up earlier.
You're wasting away a wide receiver 1
That's
contract.
right, and you've set the organization back because you can spend all that money, you bring in a 1, but you have no quarterback. And in this NFL, like what I said about the Cowboys, you can't win without the quarterback. So it doesn't make sense to make that investment. So even if you don't get to where you want to go this year, you have to show enough so the team keeps building. It's worth investing in Christian Gonzalez because we have the quarterback, or at least we still think we might. It's worth going out and getting that 1 because we have the quarterback, and that guy could put us over the top. If you don't have the quarterback, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be where you need to be. It's not worth making those investments. That's the NFL today. 617-779-0985. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back. We're going to do the 98.5 if you're okay with that. Then we're going to do some Red Sox. Maybe at the top of the hour, we'll do an NFL preview. So that's sort of what the rest of the show looks like. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports.
night and grab a coffee. I'll be up all night. So what do? You go like we're gonna go out in the morning?
Yeah. It's more of like grab breakfast, you know?
I guess. I mean, I like coffee. I've gotten into it, especially if I put a little vanilla twist on it. I can have a coffee. I'll drink it black. I don't care. It doesn't taste good, but
I like the coffee black. I just enjoyed it. It's breakfast is like my thing. Just love a good breakfast. Sit down, have the coffee, do a little pour over. Nothing crazy. Like I don't buy coffee. I hate it. $4 or $5 for a cup of coffee is asinine to me.
So what do you
make
do?
it at home?
Make it.
Just make it at home. I have my 1 in the morning in the office. I'll stop in the break room, grab one. You know,
I'm not fussy. I'll take it, and I've never. But it does give you a little bit of a kick, and I just don't want to do that late in the day.
You don't need it.
I don't need it.
Which I'm very impressed by.
Oh, thanks.
Especially a father of 2.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll get a little worn down when they're being.
You do like Celsius ever, like energy drinks?
I do. We have Celsius here. I love it. Yeah.
Okay.
They got a couple of great flavors.
If you were like, no, I never need a booster at any point of the day.
Sometimes you need a boost.
Okay. So you were talking about the Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, sorry. You wanted to make a point about the Eagles. No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I went off there at the end there.
2021.
Yep.
Fearlessness. Now, if the interception is because he's taking a risk, his debut last year against the Houston Texans, he had that long touchdown to Pop Douglas, which was a crosser over the middle.
Yep.
He threw that pass twice before, and twice they were incompletions. What I loved about him, again, this is a different piece of more mental toughness, mental fortitude. He went back to that throw the third time. It was that long touchdown. Pop Douglas catch and run, plenty of yak. I love that he'll make a mistake in the first or second quarter. He went back to in the third or fourth whenever that happened. He'll go back. He doesn't get discouraged, and I think that's a big part of playing quarterback. Joe Burrow, all the time, will throw an interception, making a really risky throw, and he forgets. And he goes back to him and says, F it, I need to make this play. Joe Burrow doesn't fear the outcome. He thinks of the execution, and I want to see that from Drake May.
I don't want this conversation to make it out or make it sound like I am skeptical of Drake May or down on. I'm really high on Drake May.
You use the B word with him.
Well, too bad. I'm just saying if. That's all still in play.
Yes.
Okay.
If
you're going to be the quarterback, I don't think he's going to be a bust. That's not what I'm just saying. If he's the quarterback that we all hope him to be, you got to show me something significant in year 2. And I think the easiest thing, based on what they have, we'll see about the completion percentage and stuff like that and the stats. It would be that record. The cupboard is not bare. Especially now with Henderson, and you have Diggs, and you have. I'm really high. We haven't talked. I'm really high on Pop Douglas this year. I think he's going to have a great season if he stays healthy.
I think so too. He's impressing me. Man.
Booty is a good player. I like Booty. We'll see. I don't know how much. I've liked what I've seen. Honestly, I like Mac Hollins. I like their room. I like their wide receiver room. I think it's good, and I still like to believe that Ramondre Stevenson has something left in the tank. He doesn't have to be the top. A couple of years ago, I was arguing he was a top 10 back in the league.
He showed that flash and promise. He makes guys miss in space, which is like that's one of the arts of being a good running back.
He used to remind me.
Go.
I was just going to say, he used to remind me of Clinton Portis.
Yeah. You have 9 guys blocking for you. Quarterback's 1, so there's going to be 2 defenders. You got to beat one of them at some point. He makes guys miss. Last year, constantly getting hit the second he touches the ball. That's why he's fumbling. It did scare me, like him in training camp, him in the preseason, still having those issues. He needs to be their 180, 200 touch running back. Because Travion Henderson, when he was getting 15, 16 touches a game, was not staying healthy at Ohio State. When they dialed it back to 11, 12, when they got Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss, he transferred, that's when he stayed healthy and he was a real threat. Now, Travion Henderson's going to have to touch the ball 15, 16 times in the NFL. He'll mature his body. He can't be, everyone goes, who's the RB1? Ramondre Stevenson, I don't care RB1. Travion Henderson's their most talented guy out of the backfield, most explosive player. But Ramondre Stevenson needs to be the workhorse. He needs to. For Travion Henderson to succeed, for the run game to succeed, for there to be a play action. Because also this offensive line, their strength is run blocking. It's not pass pro, but you need Ramondre to do well, for Travion Henderson to do well. And if those 2 guys do well, then Drake May will succeed. Then Pop Douglas will succeed. You talk about, and I get it. You know what? And this is me having a bias. I get it. They have plans for Kayshon Boutte. We see it at camp. We see it in the regular season. We saw it last season. He was a guy down the field Drake May can rely on. I just need someone that is a pro receiver, though. And I don't see that in Kayshon Boutte. He was a highly touted prospect in LSU. He fell in the draft. He was a guy that would say, I went to the offensive coordinator, give me the ball. We see the unprofessionalism from him. And there are questions of his maturity within that building. So if there's the guy I want Drake May to build a rapport with and that trust and that chemistry, if Kayshon Boutte was mature, professional, fantastic. They'll be together for a long time. I just don't know if he has a long career in the NFL because he has the skill. He doesn't have the work ethic. I want them to get a guy that they will attack. And that could be Kyle Williams.
Isn't that Diggs, though? Isn't what Diggs he's supposed
Kyle
to be?
Williams. That should be Kyle Williams in my eyes. I don't think... I'll be surprised if Stephon Diggs has a good year. I'll be surprised if he's here next season. I'll be shocked if he's here for year 3. He has all the opt-outs in his contract. Yeah. I think that's Kyle Williams who they'll build, but he's a third-round pick for a reason.
Well, listen, based on where the Patriots have been, I'll take anybody that can make plays. So I understand you have reservations about Boutte. But if he can make
he's making plays, then
I'm going to take it. And then we'll worry about the attitude, the work ethic, and all those things later. I need some playmaking ability this year, and that's why I wasn't high on the idea of bringing back Jacoby Myers. I know he was a solid player, but you have a lot of guys that are sort of like that already. I think they need to try to get a little bit more dynamic and explosive. I think Pop Douglas is better if he's staying healthy. I think he makes more plays if he's healthy. I want to see what he can do with Josh McDaniels, and I'm not as interested in what Myers did do with Josh McDaniels.
Myers, does that interest you? The holdout?
No.
You want to pay him a ton?
No. I just said it doesn't.
28, 29.
No, he works
a good player.
System. He works in the system. He's a good player, but they have other guys. If there was a gaping hole, or if they, I don't know, if they needed that player, then okay. But they have other guys I'm more interested to see in what they can do, and they're not a team that's getting ready to win a Super Bowl either.
To your point, Jacoby Myers is good. He knows how to get open. He's a pro. He can block. It would get to the point where they're getting redundant in their receiving room, I feel like. What, another slot?
Right.
Another guy that can't line up outside? And I would rather see them, even if it's a 1 year with Stephon Diggs. This is where I go into other aspects, why Stephon Diggs is important. What can he teach Pop Douglas? What can he teach Kyle Williams? Their mentorship, his mentorship of them. Teaching them the in and outs of the game. Because Stephon Diggs, 6th round pick, took a year or two in Minnesota before he clicked and became an elite wide receiver 1. That's a guy that had to earn it. Really had to earn it. It was great in Minnesota. Was great in Buffalo. Was really good in Houston as a wide receiver 2-3, depending where you put him and Tank Dell. I think we'll be really good here. If Jacoby Myers in New England means no Stephon Diggs, I'm good. Because also, what does Stephon Diggs teach Drake May? What does Stephon Diggs teach these young receivers?
You don't like Stephon Diggs.
I do. I don't love him. But
I'd rather see what Diggs can do here than bring back Jacoby Myers.
But that's what I'm getting to. I'd rather have Stephon Diggs here than Jacoby Myers, even if it's 1 year Stephon Diggs. Now, Jacoby Myers at 28, 29, he could be with Drake May for the next 2 to 3 years. But in the world of team building, those draft picks, they used a third on Kyle Williams. We'll see what Efton Chisholm becomes as an undrafted free agent. I really do like him, actually. Let's see, next draft. You were talking about college football. I was saying I was watching the second half of Texas-Ohio State. Did you catch any of that game or the highlights?
Yeah, I watched a lot of the game, the first half.
Carnell Tate's touchdown catch where the Texas defender draped all over him. That's someone the Patriots need to identify in this upcoming draft.
They need a number 1. They're going to need a number 1.
And Carnell Tate could be one. Elite number 1, I'm not going to say. Okay. He'd be a number 1 receiver with them, with Kyle Williams, with a Pop Douglas, with a Kayshon Boutte.
They're going to have to get to that point eventually. But right now, I think they have enough to give Drake May what he needs to take that step forward.
Yes.
That's the point.
Hey,
so that's why the pressure's on May. 617-779-0985. We only have an hour and a half left of the show, but we have a lot to do. And we're going to do it. We're going to do the 98.5. We're going to talk about the NFL season as a whole, and Andrew Callahan has an article in the Herald that I want to react to as well. 617-779-0985. Mark and George here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
right, back here 98.5 The Sports Mark Dondero, George Balekji. It's time for the 98.5, George. Today's 98.5.
Ooh, no pressure.
The 5, all you have to do is react. Like you're just going to react.
Oh, I thought I would. No.
You don't have to come up with anything.
I did put a list together.
If you want to give a list, feel free. Feel free.
I want you do this.
We can both do a list. I just didn't want to put that on you if you didn't know. So I'm giving you my list. You can put down a list, and we'll see what we're of like-mindedness on. All right. So this is the top 5. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for you. I think you had to come up with this whole segment.
That's no. You're good.
Top 5 Patriot Week 1s of all time, or my favorite top 5 Patriot Week 1s. All right, let's do our number 5 at first. I'll go. We'll give yours first. Your 5th favorite Patriot Week 1, George.
2009, Tom Brady's comeback from a torn ACL.
2009, that's a great one. Mine. 1995.
Yeah, unfair, man. I was born in 94.
No, that's fine. I was young for this one, but I remember it because
fresh off the Super Bowl.
I must have been 9.
Okay.
This is before the Super Bowl. They had always sucked. Okay. So 95 was a year that Bill Parcells was here.
They just came off that 7-game win streak in 94. There were big expectations for the 95 season.
And they had always been bad early in the season. So 94, you had a glimmer of hope. 95, the game was played. Actually, it would have been today. It was a Labor Day, where the season used to start on Labor Day weekend. It was Labor Day weekend, and they upset, I think it was Bill Belichick.
It was Cleveland.
And Cleveland Browns. And it was like a last-minute touchdown. Dave Meggett or somebody went over.
No, it was Curtis Martin.
It was Curtis Martin. Went over the pile. They win at the end of the game. They were 1-0.
I vividly remember watching this game too. It's
unheard
crazy.
of. They were 1-0. They were never undefeated. 1-0. It was a huge moment for me as a Patriots. It was like the introduction, not the introduction, but it was a big moment early in the season where they actually won a game and you thought anything was possible. 95 is my number 5.
And then week 2 they got smoked.
Then they lost
by
the next
Miami.
2. They lost.
How many games in your lifetime did you go to at the old stadium?
1.
The Foxborough Stadium?
2001, I saw the Saints when they came in with Aaron Brooks. It was a game in the rain, and that was the first game that started the win streak when they won. They never lost again on the way to the Super Bowl. They had lost the week before. They beat the Saints. They won every game the rest of the way. So that was a cool game to be at.
Scale to 1 to 10. How nice was that stadium? I know it was absolute dumpster.
It was pretty garbage.
3.5?
3.5, 5 at best. Wow. I mean, I didn't really.
But you're a kid. You don't know
have a lot to compare
football.
it to. I still haven't been to another NFL stadium as a fan.
Really?
Not as a fan. So I didn't have a lot to compare. It was fine. I enjoy. Our seats were okay. So whatever. I give it a 5. All right, number 4.
So I only put 4 on my list because I can only think of 4.
Next one.
No, but so my number 4. This is one. So in 2002, I was in 3rd grade.
Okay.
And how I became a Patriots fan was in 2001 is when I'm realizing sports. And I remembered Tom Brady from his Michigan days. And the Patriots won that Super Bowl. It started at what you're alluding to, right? Or the story you just shared. And I was like, oh, that's a guy that played at Michigan. I recognize the name, really simple. I'm young. I'm like, this is the first time winning a Super Bowl. This team stinks. Cool. I'll become a Patriots fan. I had no influence growing up. 2 older sisters. My parents are Lebanese immigrants. They don't know sports still.
Yeah.
And I love them to death because they always supported it. So I remember 2002, it was the first game at Gillette, and they beat the Steelers. And I was like, oh. So that's just a week 1 game.
Great pick.
Core memory.
A great pick.
And it kicked off Gillette.
Nod to Lee Corso. Great pick. That's on my list, but it's not at number 4. Number 4 is 2004. Okay, they'd already won 2 Super Bowls. You get a game against the Indianapolis Colts.
Brady Manning.
It's always fun. That
Vander
era
Jack
was so good.
missed at the end.
Vander Jack missed at the end. They won 27-24. Were they leaking a little oil by that point? Maybe, but they still won the game. It was a huge win against the Colts at home, prime time, awesome. That's number 4. My number 3 is what you had to start, 2009.
Okay. Brady
coming off of the you were so anxious to see him because he had been out that whole year before with the ACL. I was hoping we're going to go undefeated again. We're going to run it back, get undefeated again. They weren't that good that year. Obviously, they were really not that good that year, but that game was pretty it was the Leotis McKelvin. Was that who fumbled the ball? I mean, they pulled the win out of the jaws of defeat there by winning that game at home. He threw 2 late touchdown passes against the Bills. The fumble helped them, but it was a dramatic welcome back Tom Brady and a great week 1 memory. All right, your next one.
So my next one, I go with the So you already used my number one. But anyway, 2007, week 1 against the Jets. Randy Moss, like 180 receiving yards.
Great pick.
And that was coming out of Spygate. All the hate, the doubt, the question marks. The offense and Brady hitting a wall. Like Deion Branch was his number 1 the year before. Goes into the office like, get me elite pass catchers or I'm leaving. And it's Randy Moss with Tom Brady. Like, just beauty. In the purity of football, just beautiful. And they beat the crap out of the Jets and Eric Mangini. And it was a start to the 16-0 season.
Did you say you have another one on your list?
I have one. So I only have 4. I have one left, but we've already said my number 1.
Okay. 2002 was my number 2.
Nice.
Because of what you said. Coming off the Super Bowl banner night, I was so I didn't never experience
what is
banner
this?
night. I wanted to see what that was. They unveiled the banner. Then you get a taste of what Deion Branch became. Obviously, it was a big game against the Steelers. That was a rival. You'd beaten them in the playoffs the year before. Deion Branch, 83 yards, a touchdown that night. Brady looks awesome. Branch looks awesome. The banner. It was just a fun experience. That was a fun night. And you thought, hey, we could win it again. They looked awesome to begin that year, and then they started to kind of trail off. All right, your last one. What do you have?
My number 1 was Brady Manning, 2004.
That was number 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Brady Manning. You know, it's just like it's one of those classics.
Yeah.
It's the way they won. And it was even before the Vanderjack missed field goals. What was it, 27-17, Colts draw within 3. It's Manning with the ball, gets into Patriots territory, and the defense makes a stand, and the kicker misses the field goal. It was a defense win against Peyton Manning.
And my number 1, 2007. Oh, bleep. What is that? Randy Moss doing what he did. I know the Spygate thing came out after that, but just I was so excited when they got Moss. I didn't know what it was going to look like, and then it looked like what it did look like in that game. Unbelievable. You knew it was going to be special. And to this day, maybe this is another 98.5. To this day, watching Tom Brady throw to Randy Moss is probably the best time I've ever had watching Boston sports. I mean, there is as much as fun as all the things were, the championships, or watching Pedro in '99. Brady to Moss is still probably my favorite visual in terms of what I've actually visually consumed as a Boston sports fan. It just doesn't get any better than that. I'm going to just say I am proud of you. I mean,
Thanks,
the fact that you just kind of threw that together while on the air. You're a lot younger.
When you caught me typing while you're talking, which I was listening.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, man, I got to
that. I mean, we all 4 of the 5, and you just didn't have a 5th. 4 of the 5 we shared. They were
I
in
dated
different orders.
myself only having,
But that was exactly, I mean, those are great picks. So well done.
You know what? I'll do an honorary number 5. I'm going to do a prediction. Week 1, Patriots, Raiders. Drake May, 315 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing tutter. The evolution of Drake May and Josh McDaniels. That'll be my number 5.
Naked running through the streets if that happens. And
07, you know, I remember, you're right, like, so when I was in Wisconsin, I covered Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
Okay.
And man, that was music.
Yeah.
All the music we're talking about, your favorite song, your perfect setting on a lake in your backyard, perfect weather, like that's what that was like watching every week. That was Brady to Moss as well for me. 07, that Super Bowl, that was like the one of like, this can't be real. When they lost to the Giants 18-1.
I feel like
the deepest darkness.
There's never. That's the only game to this day I still can't watch. I could go back and watch a million times the Aaron Boone home run. I've gotten over every other loss in the history of it. To this day, I still don't think I got over that loss. I wanted it so bad after Spy. I just wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
Just from a historic perspective, like as a fan, I wanted to see that level of history. And then you look at how it ended.
It's the David Tyree catch where Eli
catch.
Manning escapes Richard Seymour, and David Tyree catches out with Rodney Harrison draped all.
Yeah.
Look, those are 2 Hall of Fame defenders. Whether Rodney Harrison is in the Football Hall of Fame or not, he should be.
He should be. Ridiculous.
That's 2 Hall of Fame defenders being beat by Eli F. and Manning. Yeah. Cold-blooded, man. Give credit to him. And David Tyree, who's a nobody.
Could have called a hold. Could have called a in the grasp. Whatever. Not called. The Asante Samuel interception.
Yeah, that goes through his hands.
It was just.
And then he left for the Eagles to get paid.
That would have been so cool too. I mean, maybe that's not the word. But if they had won that Super Bowl after all the points they scored all year, if they had won that Super Bowl
in like a grinded out, ugly,
that would have been so cool. But it didn't happen, and I still to this day can't watch that game. I'm still not over that game. Man. It is what it is.
What hurts too is where I grew up in northern New Jersey.
Yeah,
run into Eli all the time. Plaxico Burst would run into him. The sushi spot on Route 46 he'd love to go to. Just see these guys, and I'm just like, Hate them. Out of respect. But
617-779-0985.
what's your favorite week 1 memory?
If you want to throw that out there. I mean, did I forget any? I don't know if I was there. I forget. They didn't always win. I mean, in 2014, they lost week 1, I think, in Miami. They've had some bad week 1s, too. 2003 was a disaster.
One of my all-time favorite games was when they got the snot beat at them by the Chiefs Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
There's the classic like Trent Dilfer soundbite, like they're done, they're washed, and the run they went on after that too.
Well,
See, I just remember Jamal Charles breaking that entire defense's ankles, like the misdirections.
They had some games, and then you were waiting to see how they responded against Cincinnati that next week, and they came out and they just ripped it. That was
On
good.
Cincinnati.
617-779-0985. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Mark and George, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
have all of a sudden gone from 11 wins in the playoffs down to 8 wins. But while doing that, they're trying to sell me on 8 wins being a massive improvement over last year, and I think that's terribly misleading and not much of improvement at all. Simply because Gerard Mayo was terrible. They won 4 games last year, but he got fired for a really good reason. That 4-win team last year was probably really a 6-win team. And there are a couple of games they should have been able to nick that they didn't. And by no means am I saying 6 wins are good, because it's not. You still think with 6 wins, but I really do think there were 6-win teams. So that's the baseline where you start to judge them against. Then they had a couple of free agents, which, I've been told are pretty good, and spent a fair bit of money to do it. So that should automatically get you another game or 2. So automatically, without Vrabel doing even really anything besides being an average coach, you should be at 7.5 wins. Then you have another year of Drake, and he'll be playing a full season, blah, blah, blah. So the point is, they're really not on a trajectory from 4 to 8 to 12. If it plays out, if these guys only end up being an 8-win team, sort of feels to me like you're more on a trajectory of 6 wins to 8, which really isn't that much of a change. And you'll sort of feel like when the season is all said and done, they're on their way from 8 to maybe 8 the following year or 9 wins.
I'm going to let you go there. I'm just asking you, George, is 8 wins enough to impress you?
Yes, because I completely disagree with it's not enough. That team was so bad last year. And that in reality was a 3-win team, because Sean McDermott handed it to them at the end of the season of handing them the win. He obviously wasn't going to give his division rival with Drake May the number 1 overall pick, even in a weaker draft. But it was so bad that even the games they were winning, you're like, this is ugly. This isn't pretty. The offense has no flow. The defense is terrible. In the losses they have, they're not even on the same playing field. Like the blowout against the Chargers at home. 8 wins, but they're showing that they are comparable. Like how bad they were against the Cardinals out of the bye, the Dolphins game that they lost before Jacoby Brissett was benched, and the other. That's like, I keep replaying last season in my head. 8 wins to me is enough if for 17 games, and they're going to have lows and they're going to have highs, we see consistent, good, sound, competitive football team. Because, Mark, it wasn't that they just only had 4 wins last year. They looked like a garbage football operation. You would see better, more finely tuned football if you went to Watertown High on a Thursday night and watched your JV team. I'm actually convinced of that. It was such bad football last year, and it's been such bad football the last 3 years. But last year was the real rock bottom.
Look, it'd be doubling your wins from last year. So if you're going to double your wins, I can't sneeze at that. If you had 2 wins, you go to 4 wins. That's not exact. But doubling from 4 to 8, I'd have to acknowledge it. But then it would become, what did those wins look like? Is it all just because you're playing bad quarterbacks and you grounded and pounded your way to tough 20 to 14, 17, 14 wins all day and all year? That would not impress me nearly as much as, okay, you had to outscore opponents. Drake May put up big numbers. He still made some mistakes, but he was dynamic. They made dynamic plays down the middle, the deep middle part of the field, and did all these different things. And Drake May pulled out some wins because he's a baller at the end of games. That would impress me more than grinding out low-scoring win after win that resulted in 8. It's okay. It's nice to double your wins, but that really wouldn't do much for me. Seeing Drake May evolve while getting to the number 8 would be better.
I just went through the schedule, and I can find them 8 wins. And it's not like the coin toss games. Raiders, which actually I think will be harder than we think, but I think they beat the Raiders at home. Yeah. Raiders, Panthers, Saints, Titans, Browns, Jets, Giants, Jets, or Miami. So I'm giving them 8 wins. I think they beat Miami end of the season. Maybe they split with the Jets, but that's 8. The coin flip games like Atlanta, Tampa, they could beat them. I actually like how the schedule falls. I like them beating Cincinnati in Cincinnati Sunday with a 1 p.m. kickoff because they're playing Thursday night the week before. Extended prep, extended preparation for that. And I even would not be shocked if they beat the Bills at home for 2 reasons. Mike Vrabel is a better head coach than Sean McDermott. McDermott's not a good head coach. Josh Allen's bailing him out and giving him a longer leash there in Buffalo, and that's a game out of a bye. Again, extended prep. So look, And when we get to the quarterback conversation, it's Josh Allen twice, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. That's it. When you're talking about beating good quarterbacks, they face 3 elite quarterbacks a total of 4 times. That's it. The other ones are the goods. Geno Smith, Michael Penix. I'm not going to say he's good. Yeah, I haven't seen him. Baker Mayfield, right? I don't believe in Justin Fields at all.
No.
He's okay.
No.
New York with Jameis or Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart.
It might be Jackson Dart.
That their schedule is really easy. So they better get 8 wins because 8 wins is my floor.
And you're talking about a guy, Mike Vrabel, who I don't need to remind you this, but was he over the moon in terms of a record wise in Tennessee? No, but he did have playoff wins against a red hot Baltimore Ravens team and Lamar Jackson on the road, and Tom Brady on the road against the Patriots. I mean, the guy's won some big games. Mike is in the car. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up?
Good.
All right. Hey, so I just wanted to talk about the 07 Super Bowl just for a second because it pisses me off every time somebody brings it up. That Tyree catch, most fraudulent play of all time. The whole offensive line could have been called for murder, not just holding. But everybody forgets about this. But there was a guy on the offensive line for the Patriots who was picked up like 6 weeks after the Super Bowl with a trunk full of drugs driving back from New York City through Connecticut. I think he was shaving some points in that game. Look him up. People forget about that, but very weird stuff going on with that game. Thanks, guys.
Didn't expect that angle. I don't remember that story.
I'm going to do some Googling.
Okay. Yeah, the point stands. The game, it's still just a sore spot whenever you think about it. But, Drake and the combination of Drake May and Mike Vrabel, look, again, I don't want to use the B word, but I'm just saying I believe he has enough. Is it enough to be a contender, a true Super Bowl contender? No, but I do believe he has enough to get the team above 500 and to really take a step forward. And if it doesn't happen, I mean, who are we going to blame? You're going to blame Mike Vrabel, that's been to the, he's an accomplished head coach. You're going to blame Josh McDaniels, who is a damn accomplished offensive coordinator. You can't blame them. Now, the offensive line stinks. All right, the offensive line, that's a concern. But you spent a first-round pick, a number 3 or 4, what was it, 4 overall on the left tackle, okay? You have a couple other guys there that you brought in, that you invested in. Get Bradbury, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Morgan Moses, Michael Wenyu's played well for you. I mean, there is no reason, based on what you've invested and who you have, I feel like this offensive line should be at least mediocre. Doesn't have to dominate, but just be mediocre. And if that's the case, then there is no excuse for Drake May. None. I know it's uncomfortable. I know people want to talk about like he has all this time just in case he doesn't look good. You could just say, wow, he's got all this time. No, he doesn't. It's got to happen soon. And this team, if you're going to be anything like the quarterbacks you want him to be, it should really start with a record north of 500 this year. That, especially when you have Vrabel and McDaniels and all the resources they put into the defense and the receivers and all the guys that they have, Henderson, you should be above 500. I'm sorry. That's what should happen, or else you're not the quarterback that we thought Drake May. 617-779-0985. George is going to get you updated with headlines. We're going to come back. We're going to do a little bit of Red Sox after a tough loss, a couple tough losses the last 2 nights. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Telfair Tire Studios, WBZFM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Red Sox are looking to avoid a sweep at the hand of the Pirates today. Lucas Giolito against Mitch Keller. 1:35 first pitch. Red Sox lineup today. Roman Anthony hitting leadoff, followed by Alex Bregman, Jarren Duran, Trevor Story, Nathaniel Lowe starting at first base, Masataka Yoshida at DH, Romy Gonzalez, Cedon Rafaela, and Carlos Narvaez. Also, BC transfer Tommy Castellanos led Florida State to a 31-17 upset win over 8th-ranked Alabama last night. Castellanos threw for 152 yards, ran for 78, and a score. While Boston College themselves opened the season with a 66-10 win over Fordham. New Eagles QB1 Dylan Lonergan threw for 268 yards and 4 touchdowns. And finally, Oscar Piastri won the Dutch Grand Prix today for his 7th Formula One victory of the season. He now has a 34-point lead over his teammate Lando Norris in the World Driver Standings with 9 races to go in the season for McLaren. These Sports Hub headlines this hour are brought to you by the A Voice for Mikey Autism Foundation Gala on Wednesday, September 3rd at the Cape Club in Sharon. Guests will enjoy an evening of dinner, dancing, celebrity appearances, and more. 100% of the proceeds go to support families struggling to care for an autistic child. To purchase tickets or donate, please visit avoiceformikey.com. That's avoiceformikey.com.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. There's a separation. Touchdown pass. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5, the Sports Hub. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Casher, thank you. He's basically pulled over with a bunch of oxys and he owed a guy $3,900 in cash. I promise you, an offensive lineman isn't hurting for just under $4,000.
Yeah.
That they're going to shave points and throw the Super Bowl. He also injured his foot. Week 15 didn't play.
I mean, look, that team
Crazy
was they almost lost. I remember to the Eagles. It was a backup quarterback who was Ty Detmer or somebody. So you could tell that they were sort of.
They almost lost to the Giants.
Oh, that's right. They should have lost.
That Baltimore game, I forget.
Yep.
I think it was Sunday Night Football.
Yeah,
It was.
Monday
That's
Night
the
Football.
game
Yeah.
that I remember being like, "Oh no, they're gonna lose a big game and it's gonna hurt."
was-
I didn't think it was gonna be the Super Bowl.
They were
though.
wobbly. They were wobbly.
That when they beat the Giants, it gave the Giants confidence because they're like, oh, we're that
Because of how they
close?
play, because how the Giants
Exactly.
play. Yeah.
Exactly. And
The same thing with the Patriots against the Rams in 2001 when
Yep.
they played them that Sunday night game.
Yep.
It gave them the confidence. Like, we kept up with them, you know?
Yep.
But at that point, right, we hadn't seen a Super Bowl loss. Right? At that point, not with
No, I
Belichick Brady.
Oh, yeah, well, I saw the one in 96.
Right, not
Yeah.
with Belichick Brady, though. So we had never seen them with the 2 weeks to prepare and all the different things. You would have thought they just put up 38 points against the Giants, too, at the Giants. They were going to score 14 points? That was wild. Yeah. All right. The Red Sox. Nesson, man. How they doing?
ratings are up.
That's good.
Year to date, I think up 121%.
Okay.
Highest since 2021. What happened in 2021? Playoff run.
See,
very simple. It's very simple.
That's right.
We talk about ratings and the viewership and the engagement. It's better. You want the Reds. You want every team to be successful because more people are locked into the sport.
I was just going to say, this is why I like seeing John Henry watching Felger and Mass, because that means, did you see that picture the other day?
Him on his yacht.
That means
he's like a Liverpool fan. Took
he
that photo or
cares about what's going on and what the narrative around the team is. I like the fact that it appears like he cares. And I've questioned what his motives have been. He obviously hasn't been exactly what he was when he started owning this team. Do you believe that this is a true World Series contender?
Extending Chapman was big. I was actually shocked by that.
Yeah?
I thought Chapman, how well he was pitching, and also again another addition I wanted to make at the trade deadline was get a closer because Chapman was going to be gone after the season. They extend him. Garrett Crochet. It's going to be him and Tarek Skubal for the Cy Young. I think Skubal ends up getting it over him. Bayo has been a solid number 2. I trust him in a playoff game. This lineup and this bullpen does not give me enough confidence. And I'm talking about as much Garrett Whitlock, Aroldis Chapman, fantastic. The middle of the bullpen. If your starter can only go 5 or 6, the guys that will get you from the 6th to the 8th inning, I don't trust them. And this lineup has been struggling since mid-August. They need that middle of the order bat, but guess what? It's too late. And Mark, I don't know what your view was on the trade deadline. It's the first time I've met you, hosted anything with you. My thing all along, like when Abraham Toro got DFA'd, that didn't come as a shock because he's been slumping. Sub 600 OPS. Great start to the season. Did a fantastic job being a platoon guy, a placeholder at first base, had some big hits. But that sub 600 ERA was happening leading up to the trade deadline at the end of July. And who did the Mariners get? Josh Naylor. A veteran, professional bat, shows up in the playoffs and could be a really good middle-of-the-order bat behind a Roman Anthony, Alex Bregman, Trevor Story, behind those guys. They could have traded for him. They didn't. They need to get bullpen arms. Steve Matz, they needed more than that. They needed a starting pitcher. Dustin May, 6 earned run yesterday. That's where They made the improvements. Roman Anthony's been fantastic. I love what we're seeing with Cedon Raphael making his big leap this season. Again, Crochet, all of that. They need more. They need more. I cannot call them a playoff World Series contender unless the bullpen all of a sudden turns a new leaf, but they're injured and they drop the ball at the deadline.
The trade deadline was the worst thing that happened this season. I'd like to give, excuse me, the front office a little bit more credit. They've done a lot of good things. They are partly back. They are not fully back.
That's the way I look at it. Where, again, it's been 3 straight seasons of mediocrity. When, like, you brought up, like, I work at NESN. Ratings matter. The ratings are all-time high since 2021 because they're in the race. I believe they get into the playoffs. I don't want to see them just get in. I want them to see a win a series.
They need to do we know what they need to do. Why? Because we've seen it over 20 years. That's why it's so frustrating. John Henry should be an effing legend in Boston. But I don't think that's how people view him right now. He's public enemy number 1 or 2 or whatever you want to call him. They are not doing what they used to do, and we all know what they used to do. They would always be aggressive at the trade deadline, even if it was a position of strength in 2007 when they got Eric Gagne. In other years, they might not have gotten or made as big of a splash at the deadline because they already had a stacked lineup in 2004 or in 2018. But the moves they did make were directly related to the success they would eventually have in the postseason. 2004, 2018. I mean, Steve Pearce was the damn World Series MVP. Okay? They made moves that mattered at the deadline. This year, they did not. So they did not complete that part of the process. And this isn't a team loaded with talent. Your best hitter is 21 years old. Okay? That's not taking you to the promised land. And he's great. But back in the day, you had Manny Ramirez, who was also at times a pain in the ass, but you found a way to be able to keep him through leadership, through the mentorship of David Ortiz or Pedro Martinez or Tito Francona. You found ways to make it work and keep his talent on your payroll. They couldn't do that with Rafael Devers. Now, I know it's been bad in San Francisco since he's gotten there. They couldn't do that with Devers. Imagine you had Bregman, Devers, and Anthony, how much more clout that would have been in the lineup. That would have been... And if you could have figured out a way to do something else at the deadline, you would have been a true contender. That's why I'm not sitting back and just enjoying what they're doing now, even though it's been a lot better. And they're closer. They need to, in order to win the World Series, do more, and I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to let them off the hook. They need to do what they used to do if they want to win the World Series, and that includes being aggressive and active and innovative at the trade deadline, which they were not this year, and that is going to ruin their season when it is all said and done. It's a shame because they were right there, and they did nothing, and they knew it.
I'd be interested how different the rotation would look, but it's also when you see like Nate Eovaldi, 1.56 ERA. Last 2 months of the season.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber. Again, a guy that was here that they traded for as a rental
piece. How many
piece.
home runs does he have?
Is he at
50?
49.
49.
Like the fact that you said 50 and I wasn't like, whoa.
Yeah.
49.
Yeah.
Hitting
Ridiculous.
247 this season. Like guys that were here. And like Nate Eovaldi was born to pitch in Boston. Moment was never too big for him. These nails, obviously, in 2018, but it was also what he was doing in that 2021 playoff run, too. But, look, they signed elsewhere. They're under contract. That trade deadline getting so locked in on Joe Ryan that you whiffed on a Zach Gallen who could have been a good addition and would have been a solid number 4. Instead, it's Dustin May. You're holding your breath for Dustin May. 6 earned runs yesterday. Or Peyton Tolley. Loved his debut. But, like, is he going to be more than a bullpen piece in the postseason?
Again, you're relying on a kid. That's not how you win a World Series. And that's what it's about. That's what I thought it was about. That's what we're focused on, winning the World Series. And, apparently that's still, not what they're completely focused on. And that's what I want them to get back. They're closer. They got the starter. They got the ace. Bregman was a great signing. Obviously Roman Anthony and bringing him up and whatever, but you need to continue to act like there is no tomorrow and that you need to get the guys that are going to get you over the hump, and you know how to do that. You have to get talent, and they're just still not quite there yet, so I'm not letting them off the hook quite yet.
It's even like what Trevor Story's done this season has been great. He's finally healthy in Boston. First time since he was brought in his first season when he was sharing the middle infield with Xander Bogaerts. It's Alex Bregman. It's Trevor Story. Cedon Rafaela hitting really well. And then you're right, because the thing with Roman Anthony, which I'm so baffled by, is how young he is and how good he's been. And that's a kid that the unique way of developing. Didn't go to college, drafted 18, went right into the minors, played over 600 games in their farm system, called up. The right maturation, right? His patience, his eye in the box, how he's hitting, fantastic. The rotation needs to be better than Crochet, Bayo, Giolito. Because also, again, how much longer will Alex Bregman be here next season? Will Giolito be here next season? There are those question marks. This was an establishing year. I want to see a playoff series win. I want to. It's been so long. 2021, this city is different when the Red Sox are not just in the hunt, but in the playoffs come time for the fall. It's a much different type of city.
I did a show, the midday show on Thursday with Tim McCone. And he used, when we were talking about the Red Sox, he used the word window. They have a window. There's this window. And immediately I stopped and I was like, that's the problem right there. We have now been conditioned to think of it as a window, when before there really wasn't a window. When it was 2003, I wasn't worried about a window. I was worried about, are they going to win this year? And if not, okay, what are they going to do to retool and then be in position to win next year? And if they don't win that, what are they going to do the next year? There was always hope. There was always the expectation that they were going to do what you needed to do, because the Yankees taught them and all these other teams taught them, you got to be aggressive, you got to go get talent, and that's how you win. Now analytics have taken over. I understand. They run our lives, the nerds. I just feel like that is something they need to get back to, or I'm not getting fooled. Just because they've got a little bit closer to that, and you see Nesson's ratings are up, you're reaping some of the benefits. Good. We'll keep going. Mm-hmm. You see what the people want. You see what the people like. You see what the team benefits from. Keep going. Be aggressive at the trade deadline. Load up. And if it doesn't work, Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez, guess what? It doesn't work. No big deal. You tried. Pablo Sandoval. I'll take that every day.
Because you tried.
You tried. You did. The front office did what they needed to do. They completed their part of the process. And that's what teams that win the World Series are able to do. That's what you do. You go out and you get it. And that's how you win. And you use that. You don't, it's nice to be the Rays. They used to win a lot, and they get into the World Series. They could never win. You have to get free agents, the big name players, and do all the things the Rays did. And that's how you win, and that's not what they're doing. 617-779-0985. They're closer, but they're not all the way there. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
And I thought that was just a great point. Like, yeah, it's fun to do that again, even though the Red Sox have now fallen back behind the Yankees in terms of the division lead, with the Yankees having won. I don't know where their schedule is right now, but they're now a game
and a half up.
Yeah, game and a half. So the Yankees have actually, they've rattled off a bunch of wins since that Red Sox series. I didn't even realize. So they lost
Nationals and White Sox.
I get it, but they're wins.
They're winning. Well, and Red Sox dropped 2 straight against the Pirates, who are the worst offense in baseball. 2 straight.
Yeah.
They can't produce runs. Now, one was Paul Skeens. They can't produce runs, but the bullpen can't prevent them. And that was you, me, and Alex Barth are talking about it right before we took over from him after he did the football hour. I didn't hate Cora sending Peyton Tolley back out in the 6th. Because Cora said after, too, of like, I want to see what the kid got. He's testing him. This is what it's going to be now.
Right.
I get it. You never thrown more than 74 pitches, whatever, right? Hey, you're going to go out in the 6th. You haven't thrown more than 5 innings since you got to AAA. This is the majors now. So we're going to ask of you. You want to mentally test him. The issue there, it wasn't Peyton Tolley faltering. He's 22. First major league start. It was Greg Weisser, the major league guy behind him, letting off 2 hard hits right after, then settling down. Now, Cora could have been better with Weisser. Hey, be ready. We're going to give him 1 or 2 batters at most, and then you're going in. It was the bullpen behind him. What was the issue yesterday? Dustin May, 6 earned runs. When he was acquired, you were looking for a solution to Walker Buehler, not the next Walker Buehler. What's the issue again? Walker Buehler not getting on the same page with the Red Sox pitching staff, coaching staff, of going with what Andrew Bailey preaches, which would help Walker Buehler because Bailey's anti-fastball, more movement. Hey, Walker Buehler, you don't have your best stuff anymore? Maybe less velo and more movement would help you. This pitching staff has been in flux. Thank God they have Garrett Crochet. Thank God they have Brian Bayo. If they didn't have either one of those guys, let alone neither of them, what would this be? A 70-win team again?
Look, again, I feel like, and maybe it's just negativity, the season is going to feel like a disappointment because of what happened, the 2 points. The Devers trade when you got nothing back, and the trade deadline when you produced nothing. That's going to be the season when it's all said and done. I think that's going to be the big takeaway from the season when it's all said and done. Great job with Crochet. Bayo emerging has been awesome. Aroldis Chapman has been way better than people thought, even though he is a Hall of Famer, so I don't think it should be some shock.
He's had a resurrection here, though.
Okay.
I'm shocked by his performance here. He has not been this good.
But he's a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
I mean, he's so good. He's been good. And I know he's older, but his slider looks really good now, and he's still throwing 99 miles an hour. It's going to be the not getting anything for Rafael Devers, missing that bat in your lineup, and then at the trade deadline when you had a chance to maybe atone for that a little bit, you get Dustin May and whatever. And it's not only that, the Walker Buehler thing didn't work out either. Those are going to be some of the big deals that they made, not so much Buehler, but the Devers. And then when at the deadline, Craig Breslow was talking about how it takes 2 to tango and you need to give up guys that they actually want, and nobody wanted his guys. So you had a guy that teams would want. You traded him for nothing. Then when you needed something, you had nobody anybody would want. So
it's that balance of, like, you had the guy. Who did they get back? Zach Harrison, who was expected to pitch at the major league level. Peyton Tolley leapfrogged him. Zach Harrison hasn't been working out at Worcester. Who'd you get? Jordan Hicks. Jesus.
Yeah.
Every time he's on the bump, it's like, where are these pitches going?
Right.
He can throw it fast and hard. He has no idea where the pitch is going. And James Tibbs, who you traded for Dustin May.
Yeah.
And what's Dustin May been? He's been what we saw with the Dodgers. That's what's tough. There are the massive win, trading for Garrett Crochet and getting that extension done when you did, not letting that linger into the season. Bucking up, signing up, giving the deferred money to get Alex Bregman, who's helped out this entire lineup. What Roman Anthony's been since he's been called up. Cesar Rafaela taking his leap forward as an all-around 5-tool player. He's been terrific. And it's other guys like a Lucas Giolito. But we knew they needed to add to the bullpen. We knew they needed to get another bat. There was so much urgency to trade Rafael Devers on Father's Day. What were you doing when that went down? I was in Revere, getting dinner with my in-laws for my father-in-law now.
Yeah.
And the trade went down, and my fiance at the time wanted to kill me. She's like, put the phone away. I'm like, they just traded Rafael Devers. And with the urgency to trade him then, And then they waited 15 minutes before the trade deadline to engage in Joe Ryan talk.
That's right.
That's
should have
where
been doing that for weeks. It's not like they didn't know what they needed. They could have been doing that for weeks and weren't.
What?
You're pretty close if that's the deal. You just need a little something in the bullpen or as a depth piece or another bat or whatever. But I could go to battle with that, and that's what's even more frustrating. They were so close. They were right there. And they're going to end up short because of a bat, Devers, or because of an arm, Joe Ryan, or whomever else you could have maybe gotten at the deadline if you were willing, or not just say willing, if you were able to close a deal. And that's why it's going to be so frustrating. They were right there for true. They could still go on a run. We could still have a fall. It could be fun down the stretch here, whatever. They were right there for legitimate contention for a championship, a World Series championship, and they passed it by and they let it go down the wayside because they weren't able to either close a deal or they weren't able to be more patient or try to get Rafael Devers on board or whatever it was. They were right there and they didn't do enough, and that's why I am not letting them off the hook, despite the fact that they look better and they're having some fun this year.
Cutter Crawford, Tanner Houck, the injuries, Hunter Dobbins. Some happened before the deadline, some happened after. Obviously, we've seen Cooper Criswell, what happened to him. That led to Tolley getting the call-up. But we knew that this staff needed more, the pitching staff, let alone the lineup. Now we'll see what, Luis Guerrero, is he ever activated off the 60-day IL? We'll see. Liam Hendricks obviously has been a disappointment. Stinks to see for a guy with this story, but it happened, and that's sports. Guys can have good stories. Like Isaiah Campbell, they bring him back and forth. He's not a major league relief pitcher. Mm-hmm. Your point, where are the setup guys? Steve Matz can be that guy. He's okay. He's fine. They need more. Because, again, when you go back to Payne Tolley, great start. You could argue back and forth whether he should came out in the sixth or not. Greg Weisser needs to get the job done. But when you have all those other guys pitch the night before, you're SOL. And that's when your depth is tested, and you need depth in pitching and a bullpen. You need arms.
I mean, for crying out loud, David Robertson, who didn't he just sign with the Phillies? Is it the Phillies he came out of retirement? I mean, he was sitting probably in where do they live in Rhode Island or something? The Robertsons. And he was just hanging out, 40 years old. Could have been somebody bringing, not that I'm a big fan of 40-year-old pitchers by and large, but I mean, if that's the one area where you're weak, especially if you have the best 1-2 relief combination, I know pitchers don't usually go 7 innings anymore. Back in the day, that would have been fine. You got Scott Williamson, or what was that, 03? It was like Scott Williamson and somebody else, Mike Timlin. They were two really good end of the bullpen guys. You made a lot of money with them. Not so much anymore, but you had some. It's not like it's a barren wasteland. So it's just a shame. We'll see what they're able to. Dropping 2 straight at home where they've been so good to the Pirates of all teams. That was not a good time to do that, obviously. So we'll see if they can salvage one of the games today and go from there. But yeah, the Yankees winners of 7 in a row. I know they're not playing anybody, but they've won 7 in a row. And they found a way to get back ahead of the Red Sox, and now they're back in the mix here. So,
and that's a team I don't fear, but it's the same old lineup. Dip and Jack, rely on Aaron Judge, but Trent Grisham and Jazz Chisholm, what their bats have become this season, both 25-plus home run guys. It may be Dip and Jack baseball, but they have depth in that lineup.
Well, look, if you're the Red Sox, you're right there. You're a game and a half behind the Yankees now. Ideally, you want that series at home. I know they just had a nice series in New York, but if you play that wild card series where you have that 3 straight games, you want that at home. 100%. I certainly don't want to go to Seattle. That's the biggest fear. I do not want to. I don't think they win that. They never play that well. And go look at their record in Seattle. It's never good.
Park.
They're not good in Seattle.
I don't fear Seattle. I think they'd be fine in the Bronx. But there is a legitimate bump they get playing in Boston.
Yes.
And that's what made these last 2 nights a shock. Friday night, it was Paul Skeens. But that game, you still had the advantage. You got 7 hits on Skeens. It was one of his worst career outings, and he's the best pitcher in baseball. Your bats did the job. Your bullpen didn't. And that's when we see this team succeed. Everything comes together. And it's ups and downs. It's ebbs and flows. And this is the Pittsburgh Pirates. You need to beat them. You can't drop a series against Pittsburgh. Friday night, Payne Tolley, good outing. I was confident in this team you can afford to drop Friday night against the Pirates. I had confidence they'd win the next 2, and they're just not doing that, Mark.
617-779-0985. We'll go back to football in the last half hour here. Mark Dondero, George Balekji, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Mark Dondero, George Balekji. A lot of football today. Let's get back to some phone calls. Dan is in the car. Hey, Dan.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
What's up, man?
So, I just have a recommendation for you after listening to the last segment.
Yeah.
I would enjoy this Red Sox ride that we're all on. I know it seems like you just want to dig in, find the take that if this blows up 2 months from now, you can point back to it. If you look at the free agents, yeah, Bueller was a failure, but you can probably name 3 successful ones. If you look at the trade deadline, it takes 2 to tango. At the deadline, I would have given this Peyton Tolley away in a heartbeat. Now, after watching the guy pitch one game, maybe there's a reason he didn't move, but they did offer the guy. It takes 2 to tango. Where did Joe Ryan end up? I don't think he went anywhere. Pitchers did not get moved. And so to criticize the team, I think that's a little bit difficult. So not many pitchers moved. The team's fine. You're never going to have 9 guys hitting 300 or pulling in the same direction. Guys are going to go down, guys are going to go up, but they're right in it. Enjoy it.
All right, thanks for the call, Dan. And I have been wrestling with this, thinking to myself, am I approaching this correctly? But I have a responsibility, George, and I need to make sure that the team is held accountable. And yes, in the moment, do I enjoy certain things that happen? Of course, the Cedar Rafaela home run on July 12th, I enjoyed the hell out of that. It was awesome. Some of the wins that they've had, the games in New York, the 1-0 win, I enjoy those things. But I'm sorry, my bar is high. And I refuse to maybe in 15 years, it won't be as high if they haven't won anything and we're just in this drought. But since I went through the 20 years of prosperity, my bar remains at the ultimate height. And I just know what we need to do if they're going to try to win the World Series. And when I don't see it, I get frustrated. So, yes, you could sit there, and Dan's not wrong. I could maybe sit here and just enjoy it more. Don't worry so much about the championship or doing everything. Just enjoy what they have done and have fun with the games they're winning. But when I come on the air, I can't do that. I need to analyze what they used to do versus what they're doing now. And if I see a discrepancy based on what they did to win World Series, and if I don't agree with what I'm seeing now, I'm going to say it, and that's where I am.
What's the standard? You're just going to enjoy it and watch it? Like, this is Boston.
That's what I'm asking.
Rings matter. It's not Kansas City.
Right?
Minnesota, Seattle. I'll keep beating up on the Midwest.
Like, you know what?
It's not Milwaukee.
I'll tell you what I would enjoy. You want to know what I would enjoy? I'm married into it. My wife went there. So I'm not really a fan, but I'm a fan, whatever. Boston College football. If they go on a run and make the playoff, or say, because it's possible now in today's college football, I would enjoy it. I wouldn't be expecting a championship or this or that. You got to do whatever it takes to win the. I don't care about that. Wow. Look at that. They're going on a run.
BC.
Good job, BC. They're going on a nice run. They won some tough games, some big games. They made the playoff.
Play Mr. Brightside.
I'm good. Like that, I would enjoy that. But when you're the Boston Red Sox,
yes,
or the New England Patriots, a rich history and tradition now of winning and winning at the highest level.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to bring that bar down now. Not while the owners are still the same and all these pieces are still the same. I'm not bringing that bar down, especially with the same ownership. So that's the bar. It's high, but that's the bar.
And that's where it should be. You watch Peyton Tolley pitch 5 1/3 innings, and you go, no, I'm good. I don't need the proven pro in Joe Ryan. Wrong. Peyton Tolley's a prospect. It was fun. It was electric. It was magical. I love it. I'll buy all the Peyton Tolley stock. I need to see more.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Ryan is. That would be your number 2 or number 3 starting pitcher. Instead, you're going to have Dustin effing May. Dustin May.
And I said this at the time. I never, ever at a trade deadline like trading with a team that's a contender. Why? Because if they're getting rid of the guy, obviously there's a reason. Mm-hmm. You don't trade with another team that's a contender to win the championship. There's a reason they're parting with this guy. He's not good enough to help them. So why are you taking him up? That's what I didn't like. Steve is in Fall River. Hey, Steve.
They got rid of Dustin May because they had a better guy coming off the injured list. They were putting him in the bullpen. He said he wasn't going to the bullpen, and he was done at the end of the year with his contract. They got some scrubs for him. This Tibbs they sent for him, they promptly traded. Forget Tibbs. Tibbs came from the Giants or whatever. The bottom line is, I heard they needed a number 2 at the trading deadline. Is that true?
That's what I wanted them to do, yes.
Joe Ryan would have been that number 2.
But wait. Oh, slow down. Did I hear that their top 3 pitchers since June 10th, the top 6 in ERA in baseball? Didn't I hear that stat the other night?
Yes.
So why exactly did they need a number 2? They already have 1, 2, and 3.
Doesn't matter.
So they didn't need a number.
In the
2.
playoffs, you need to win 4 games.
Steve.
Okay, I get it, but you said they needed a number 2. In the end, they didn't need a number 2. They needed a better number 5.
And it goes beyond just needing the number 2. This organization, they needed to show that they were all the way back and that they were going to do what was necessary from a front office perspective to get it done, and they didn't do it.
Let me get my point of view. Last year, we heard at the trading deadline that they asked for Garrett Crochet, and the other team is for.
Yeah, we lost Steve. Look again.
If you got Joe Ryan, that would have been great because in your 1 through 4, really your 1 through 3 are studs, and then your 1 through 4, Lucas Giolito is good. I would have been fine with Zach Gallen, a guy that can start Game 4 of a playoff series.
Yes.
But instead, they have Dustin May, who's not good enough. And you're right. Dave Roberts said himself, we're looking at putting him in the bullpen. So why would you trade for him and put him in your rotation? If he's a bullpen piece, use him in the pen. If he works that way, fine. With him and Steve Matz, fantastic. Great. Love it. You still do need 4 starting pitchers you can depend on. Someone that you'd give the ball in Game 4 of a playoff series and trust to get you 5, maybe 6 innings. A quality start. You can't trust anyone for that outside of Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito. That's the issue. And so that's what the previous caller. Why not? I'll enjoy it, but do you just enjoy stuff? Oh, this food's good. You take a bite out of a chicken parm. This is good. This is good, but the sauce could be a little better. This drink's good, but I like it a little stronger. You have standards, and it should apply to the sports teams you pour yourself into every single day. I'm so happy, and I have confidence the Red Sox will get back to the playoffs. They've been well below the standard. They haven't even been in the same zip code as the last 3 years. But what makes Boston different, it's not about getting to the playoffs. It's not about going to the dance. It's finding someone to dance with. That's what Boston does. This isn't Milwaukee, Minnesota, Seattle, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay. This is Boston. Where are your standards, guys? Because that's not good enough.
They needed to show from a front office perspective that they were back doing what was necessary. They did not show that. And you're right. I'm just not willing to bring that down because I don't want to be comfortable becoming the Rays. The Rays won a lot of games. They made the World Series a couple times, but they couldn't ever get over the hump. And because the Red Sox possibly are figuring out how to become that and win, even though they're on the budget, not good enough. You have to be what you were because that's what won them championships. Matt is in Rhode Island. Let's get one more Red Sox thought in. Hey, Matt.
Hey, what's up, guys? I agree with you, Dondero. But my point was that if Peyton totally works out, they're going to get extremely lucky and look really smart. Because obviously, like you said, the pitchers that they got from the Devers trade, no good, nothing at the deadline. So they were kind of forced to make an unprecedented move. I mean, this kid has little to no experience from single A to triple A. Looked good the other night, but we'll see. And it's just, I think erring on what they're thinking is that the AL is just. I mean, you saw the Yankee series. That team is trash. You're not going to do anything in the playoffs. And even Detroit and Toronto, they're beatable teams. But your point, well taken. They're not doing what they used to, but they have done relatively good.
They've done relatively well. But again, we're talking about this season, right? This season they've done relatively well, but what is the model? So every season going forward, we're going to call up a 21-year-old super stud to be the anchor of my lineup and then rely on another prospect, Peyton Tolley, to come in late in the year to save my starting rotation. That's the model you're going to go with every year? That's not good enough. You're not going to have that available every year. Obviously, you cannot just rely on that every year. You have to do something that's more sustainable, more consistent year in and year out, and that's the culture they had. So this year it's going well. It's worked out. But this isn't the model where you trade your best player, you call up a stud, a dude from the minors who becomes your best bat, and then you lean on another guy that earlier in the year was an A-ball to be the missing piece of your starting rotation come playoff time. It's not good enough. All right, we got one segment left. It's Mark, it's George, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for your sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What Oasis song is this?
This isn't an Oasis
I know.
song.
This one I know. All right. So this is the last. So a week from now, we will be immersed in NFL football.
We'll be at halftime. Patriots Raiders.
I can't be
right around there.
More excited for what. I mean, there's just so much at stake this season for Drake May, for the Patriots, for the region, for this station. I mean, I'm getting too ahead of myself, but I just think I'm so excited.
Enough is enough. Enough Cam Newton, Mac Jones.
Yes.
This is huge because Drake May has to show the foundation of he can be the guy for the next 10 to 15 years here.
Give me some bold takes on the NFL in general. Anything
Not
you're
just the
thinking.
Patriots.
Anything you're thinking of the NFL. Can be the Patriots, anything of the NFL. I'll give you a couple right off the bat. AFC South, I think, will be better than people think.
Really?
I think
Texans, Jaguars.
Hold on, wait. The AFC South?
You're talking NFC South.
Hold
Falcons,
on.
Bucks.
Falcons. I meant NFC South. I'm sorry. The NFC South will be better than people think. Okay? Falcons, if Penix can play, I think they might be better than people think. The Saints.
No.
Spencer Rattler.
I like him. Why did they draft
Spencer-
Tyler Shuck
I like Spencer
in the
Rattler.
second round?
If Spencer Rattler is not ass, they could be better than people think. And then the Bucks and Panthers, a lot of people think the Panthers will be better. The Bucks, I think, will be good. I'm not Super Bowl high on the Bucks, obviously, but I think that could be a better division than people think. That's one thought I have. Any bold takes?
Lions miss the playoffs.
It's
Ben
bold.
Johnson gone. Aaron Glenn gone. The Packers just got
in a very tough division.
Mike, exactly how difficult that division is. Kevin O'Connell, J.J. McCarthy, Micah Parsons now with Jordan Love, who's injured week 1 and never got healthy. And I think the Bears take a leap forward with Ben Johnson. But the Lions have one of the hardest schedules you'll find, not just within their division, but who they play outside of the division. I think the Lions miss the playoffs. I think the Patriots make the playoffs.
I'm not going. I'm one of the people that thinks the Patriots, based on what I've seen out of Drake
such an
May,
easy schedule.
It's an easy schedule, but it always looks that way. And then other teams, other players emerge, and things happen, and you don't understand. And there's, the injuries, depth would be a problem if they lose guys along the offensive line, as you said earlier. I just think Drake May, although he will show progress, I think there are still going to be mistakes, and I think that win total, as a result, is going to be held back. I had 10 wins to start, too. I'm now more in the 8 category. I think it's going to be closer to 8.
I think 8's fine because what Mike Vrabel and that coaching staff does, that's when they win games they're not supposed to, and that's what gets them to 9-10. That's what gets them into the postseason. MVP prediction, you have one?
So last year I took Jordan Love.
I don't hate that pick.
It.
He got injured week 1 and was never healthy.
Right. Off the top of my head, an MVP. I'll say, you know what I think could happen? I think Josh Allen could go back to back.
I don't
see
hate
that
it.
happening. I think because it feels like this is sort of the end of the window to the Bills ish, and maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. It feels like it could be another year where Allen is a big time playmaker for them, where they're not loaded with guys around them, and he's going to have to do more. And I feel like the voters could buy into that again. I could see him repeating as MVP. I think the Commanders take a step back. They're not going to be a team that is in the conference championship.
Is it the Texans' path, right? Overachieve with the rookie quarterback, get in the playoffs, or the Commanders get on the doorstep of making it to the Super Bowl? I hate what they did this offseason. I would have liked more improvements in the receiving room. Like Jaden Daniels covered up for a lot.
Yes.
They don't have the most talented receiving room. I like they got Terry McLaurin under contract. I really like Jalen Lane. But, your running back is still Austin Eckler. You added Deebo Samuel, who's washed up. Offensive line got a little better. They're putting a lot on a second-year QB, while the Giants did get better on defense. They Malik Neighbors with an actual quarterback. Cowboys, I don't know. Eagles are the Eagles. The Commanders,
they've got to be the prohibitive favorite in the NFC, right? Who else is near them? Green Bay, maybe? Detroit, but you don't even have Detroit making the playoffs. So I guess Green
Don't sleep
Bay
on the Rams.
Is Stafford's back healthy?
I know. We'll see how that holds up.
If he was healthy, I like what they do. I like their coaching, obviously. But that division's not good. The AFC West isn't good. So I see the Eagles. I'll especially after the trade, I'll monitor the Packers, but it feels like the Eagles and everybody else in the NFC. AFC, obviously a different story. Maybe the most interesting team to me is the Chargers. Feels like, with Josh, with Justin Herbert, with obviously now Jim Harbaugh's got another year. They've built up the defense. They've got a legit receiver, obviously, there in Lad McConkey. I just think that that's a team, if the Chiefs do slip a little, which I do expect them to do, and in a good division with Denver, that's a team I'd like to keep an eye on. And another team that interests me, Jacksonville. Is it going to finally be the time where we see Trevor Lawrence look like the Trevor Lawrence a lot of people thought he was going to be?
I don't trust their offensive line.
Okay.
And I like that Chargers pick. What worries me is Rashawn Slater going down. Now, Joe Alt can play left tackle.
No, that hurts, though. You can't.
I love Omarion Hampton. I love what they're building up there. I don't know about that. If I go with the surprise of the AFC, I'm putting a lot on the Broncos. Bo Nix year 2 is Sean Payton. What they did to that defense to add to Patrick Surtain, the kid they drafted out of Texas. I'm now blanking on his name, the safety, of course. But also an RJ Harvey will be a good weapon. I think the Broncos are the surprise team in the AFC. And I think the Seahawks are the surprise team in the NFC, adding Sam Darnold to what already they had of a good core.
You just go up and down the conference in the NFC. There's not a lot of juice. The North is a good division.
Then it's the Eagles.
And then the Eagles, but I mean, even though I think the NFC South will be better than people think, it's not a lot of juice. I'm not going to get excited to watch the Bucks versus the Falcons.
You're not?
No.
Me neither.
So, and then there's the West that stinks. It shouldn't say stinks, but San Francisco's down. Arizona is whatever. I don't know. Maybe Arizona could surprise. Trey McBride and Harrison.
If he takes a second-year leap, see the improvements he made.
It could be a surprise team.
I like Seattle in that division as a darling.
All right, good to be with you, George. Nice to meet you.
Good meeting you too, man. It was a fun one. First hour just talking music
I don't know what
and life.
got away from us, but that was fun. All right, Jeff, enjoy the show, man. What happens during this? Lighters out and you start crying into your beer?
I'll definitely be teary-eyed,
Yeah, okay.
Smoke alarms go off.
They do fireworks and everything, so this will be a moment.
Excellent. All right, man. We'll enjoy. Matt McCarthy's up next here on 98.5, the Sports Hub. For George, I'm Mark. Have a good rest of your Sunday.
Where were you while we were getting high?